program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. It's our second day back from our MAGA cruise. Welcome. And today I'm doing something I rarely do and have not done in years. I'm sitting down while I'm on the air, and I always stand. And the reason I'm sitting down, I'll talk more about this later when I talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret, but I've lost so much weight, my pants are falling off my body. So I thought, okay, I'll stand like I normally do and spend the whole show pulling my pants up or holding my pants up because my belt is useless at this point. Or I could just sit down and my pants will stay on during the whole show. So I'm sitting down, which will throw me off because I'm also on my coffee reduction kick, all right? I'm cutting my caffeine coffee intake in the morning by 50%. It's the second day on the air of doing this. So I started on the cruise, so I am beyond the headache stage of the withdrawals, but I still feel a little funny not having so much caffeine hype going on in the morning before I go on the air. So between that and sitting down, I'm going to be at a little disadvantage on the radio. But that's okay. We got a lot to cover, and I'm going to, of course, start with this incredible Supreme Court ruling and talk about what really happened here. All right, and I'm sure most of you know, but if you don't, the Supreme Court ruled that Trump can. This is crazy, isn't it? That Trump can actually deport an invading army of barbarians who are raping and pillaging our country, that Judge Boasberg has no authority. And that's a good ruling. I mean, there's no doubt about it that it's a good ruling. And Trump was always in the right on that. Everybody knows this, okay? Even the people that are vocal against President Trump know that it's the right ruling, and that what he is doing by deporting these criminals is the right thing to do. No one legitimately believes that it's wrong for him to deport these hordes of barbarians, because that's what they are. But the question is, and this is what no one's touching on, but I'm going to, why the Supreme Court really ruled in favor of Trump. Do you think that they ruled in favor of Trump because Judge Boasberg is wrong and Trump is right? Trump's right and Judge Boasberg's wrong, but do you really think that's why the Supreme Court did that? No, of course not. In fact, it had nothing to do with it. The reason they did it is because they were saving the judge. You got to understand, Judge Boasberg is also a FISA judge. That secret court that was established because, of the Patriot Act. Chief Justice John Roberts is the chief judge of the FISA court. All right. Boasberg is also a member of that private club that Justice Roberts has of federal judges, both radical liberals and conservative federal judges. This, I call it the Eyes Wide Shut Star Chamber Club. God only knows what they do. What kind of freaky things they got going on. They probably wear their robes during it with nothing under, and do all kinds of weird things and decide how they're going to, how they're masters of America and how they're going to use the courts. So Boasberg is very, very tight with John Roberts. And John Roberts and the Supreme Court didn't do this because it was the constitutional thing to do, in my opinion. They did it for a couple of reasons. One, to save Boasberg. That's one of the reasons. Boasberg was in big trouble. We have found in the last couple of weeks, this guy who gets every Trump case in D.C., even though they're supposed to be randomly assigned, is as corrupt as the day is long. Laura Loomer, I've been telling you guys for weeks that Loomer's been working for Trump secretly. How many times have I told that to you guys? I said I don't ask her about it because she's going to deny it. Why even bother? But she is, right? She was at the White House. She had a private one-on-one with the president. So, yeah, there you go. She's working for him. And now it's open. And Loomer's been uncovering all kinds of things about corrupt Judge Boasberg and his brother and the illegals and all this. So what we have found is that Congress, excuse me, Congress has incredible powers over the federal courts. They don't just impeach federal judges. They can do all kinds of things. The Speaker of the House has been talking about removing his district. So he'd still be a federal judge, but he'd have no district. All kinds of crazy things. There's a few other ways that the Congress could have gone at him that members have been talking about. So the Supreme Court, they came in, one reason to save Judge Boasberg. But the other thing is this, something has started to be discussed over the last week or so, because, by the way, if you're calling in, just, bear with me. We'll take some calls in a few minutes. Another thing has become very apparent in the last couple of weeks, and I was very surprised to hear people talk about this, that the Supreme Court and all of the federal courts, all they really do is render opinions. Okay? All they really do is render opinions. And what I mean by that, it's not just that they don't have any enforcement power, okay, that you really don't have to listen to them if you're the President of the United States or the Attorney General or the Secretary of this or that. So the Supreme Court was also trying to maintain the credibility of the courts by not having the District of Boasberg removed, which I don't know if that's even ever been done before. I've never heard of it being done. I was kind of hoping they'd do that. Or that the courts make a ruling and the president and the attorney general and the Homeland Secretary and all, they don't pay attention to it and just continue to do what they're doing. The Supreme Court and the rest of the federal courts really have no authority. They just give their opinions on a bunch of things. Now, I'm not talking about criminal cases. I'm talking about against the executive branch. They give their opinion. And they're like pundits in some respect. And the Supreme Court knew that the federal courts were going to be exposed as a paper tiger. That's it. So they came in to save their own credibility. Now the courts have credibility if, like when the Democrats wouldn't abide by the desegregation rulings of the courts and Eisenhower would send in the National Guard, then they got something to back them up. But the courts, they can't send in the National Guard. So they can't do anything. So Trump was not going to stop these deportations because of federal judges. It just wasn't going to happen. And it was kind of like the Wizard in The Wizard of Oz, behind the curtain. And they knew that was coming. And they did everything they could to save themselves. So this ruling has nothing to do with constitutionality, with the deportations, nothing. It has everything to do with them saving their own butts and credibility and relevancy. Now, with that being said, the ruling's still a good ruling, and we're, of course, very happy for the ruling. But let's put some perspective in there. All right, now, if you'd like to call in about this, I got a lot I'm going to cover today. This is just the first one. It's a big one. I'm going to go through some articles about it a little later. But I have a lot of other things I'm going to cover today as well. But if you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. It's Tuesday, our second day back, 1-888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are calling from. So that's the first topic. And you really got to look at this Judge Boasberg, and you got to look at Roberts. Roberts is the worst. Okay? I mean, he's just the worst. And he is going to go down in history. I'm telling you. Roberts is going to go down in history as the most corrupt Chief Justice of the Supreme Court in history. Because he's nothing but a tool of the deep state. And everyone knows this. And a lot of people say he's compromised. I don't know that he's compromised. Because when he changed his ruling on Obamacare in 2010, that's when he got exposed, right? I don't know that he's compromised. He may have always been this way, right? He may have been chosen to be the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court because he's already one of them, okay? And if you remember, a lot of you may not, but I do remember, his appointment as Chief Justice by George W. Bush was a controversial pick because he was not already on the court. And the tradition had been, I don't know how long it went back, but they said at the time, the tradition is to nominate a Chief Justice from an existing member of the court, and Roberts wasn't on the court. And George W. Bush just appointed him for that position. Boom. First time on the court, he's the Chief Justice. And it was very controversial at the time. In fact, that was the number one issue to oppose him on at the time. I'm sure there were some others, but that was the big one. I remember it very clearly. And now we know why George Bush and the establishment wanted him so bad. It's because he's one of them. He's a deep state operative. All right, now we're going to take our first break of the day. If you'd like to call in, the number 1-888-465-2631. My name's Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's Scott.
We don't answer the phones. We just put you on hold and take them on the air screenless. Jeremy, which is the mouse for the right monitor? Do you know? The monitor on the right. I want to pull up the program where I can see the calls coming in.
Okay.
And I can't figure out which mouse. Oh, it's that one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Peace of mind knowing Sloman's has your back. From smart home
Okay, it's
Next.
let's see. There we go.
This is Mark Laporta, son of Tom Laporta and proud second-generation owner of Laporta Roofing. As a military veteran who served in the Army after 9/11, I've brought the same dedication and discipline to our family business. At Laporta Roofing, we've been serving our community for nearly 4 decades, and we're committed to continuing that legacy of excellence. Our team specializes in all types of roofing systems, from shingles to tile, slate, metal, and flat roofs. We're the go-to
Hey guys, welcome.
family homes, HOAs,
If you're new, make sure you subscribe.
What sets us apart is our unwavering commitment to customer satisfaction. I've personally implemented systems to ensure you receive the best in customer service and workmanship. Don't miss out on our limited time offer for a free roof inspection. Call us now at 954-604-4602 or visit us at laportaroofing.com. Trust the experts who have been protecting homes like yours for generations. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Have you put off buying new tires because you thought they were too expensive? Find friendly prices at Friendly Tire and Margate on both new and used tires. New tires as low as $70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire. They have thousands of used tires in stock too, starting at just $30. Call for a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True Oldies FM.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, the Steve Kane Show. It is Tuesday, already. All right. We'll take a call or two. We got a lot to cover, but that's the ruling's good. We're happy with the ruling, but let's face what really happened. President Trump, he's, and I didn't coin this phrase, he and his cabinet, they are disruptors, and they just don't care what the Democrats think. They don't care what the press think. I saw today in the news that there's going to be a 50-state Trump protest or something. I don't know. They're trying to create this false narrative that there's a nationwide movement against Trump. He just won a landslide national election, including every battleground state and a whole bunch of counties in California that were blue before. I mean, come on. You look at his approval ratings. They are through the roof, okay? No one buys that there's mass opposition against him. No one, it's not even credible, but they're still pushing forward. If the Democrats wanted to have any type of winning strategy in the future, they would get on board some of these things that Trump is doing because they're just common sense, but they can't get themselves to do that. I mean, who opposes, think about this, who opposes deporting rapists and murderers from the country that are here illegally? There's another one, this student that they call, he's going in front of a federal judge. Where is it, Louisiana or something? The guy from Colombia, Mahmoud or Mohammed, whatever his name is. He's going in front of a judge. What has he been doing? He's a foreign national here on a visa, openly organizing support for a terrorist organization, Hamas. Now, I know Hamas is a terrorist organization that a lot of Democrats love, but think about this. There are a lot of terrorist organizations out there, right? ISIS, Al-Qaeda, the Ku Klux Klan. Okay, what do you think? So they're telling us, I want you to think about this. This Mahmoud from Colombia that's going in front of the federal judge today, he's a foreign national advocating for a terrorist organization, right, who's currently active killing people, including Americans that they've had hostage. Should someone who's a foreigner in this country be able to openly organize support for a terrorist organization? And a lot of you, I know what the Democrats will say, the First Amendment, the First Amendment. What would happen to me, these other terrorist organizations, right? ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and the Ku Klux Klan. Those are terrorist organizations. One of them's a domestic one, the Ku Klux Klan. What would happen? I'm an American. This guy's not. What do you think would happen to me if I was on the air every day supporting any one of those? If I was supporting Al-Qaeda, ISIS, or the Klan? Do you think people, oh, well, Brian's got the First Amendment right. How dare you? No. I'd be in all kinds of trouble. And the people that are defending this Mahmoud guy would be the first ones in line with the lynching party for me. But the reason they're supporting Mahmoud is because he's supporting a terrorist organization that the left like, Hamas, because Hamas is Iran and they kill Jews. And the left don't like Jews. And, and they don't mind people that kill Jews. That's all. You can't be here from another country on any kind of visa and organize support for a terrorist organization. You're on the air.
Hey, Brian, great show.
Here we go. Yes.
Wanted to touch on another point on the tariffs and everything, but then you got me thinking and my brain going about the Mahmoud guy. And I just wanted to say that how bad do you want to suck his cock?
Yeah, see, there we go. See, now, didn't you hear me say, here we go? I used to be, this is true, and those of you, and when I came to the radio, Jeremy, did you check the delay? Yeah, see why I told you to check the delay? Mike is off for a couple days. Mike the board up. Jeremy's filling in. And I asked Jeremy to check and make sure the delay was on before the show began. And boom, right out the box. And I I know, isn't that nice? It's just lovely. It's just lovely. You know, but if you heard, when I took the call, I said, here we go. Here we go, right? Years ago, and those of you that have listened to me for a long time, I used to be opposed to racial profiling by police officers. I was young. I didn't know what I was talking about. You know, I was young. But I realized that I profile callers sometimes with just a syllable at the opening of a call. I could tell. You remember Name That Tune? I could name that tune in one note. Remember that? Kathy Lee Gifford was on that game show. I could name that tune in one note. I remember that? And I can profile a caller so often just by the first syllable of the first word out of their mouth. And then I realized, well, if that's profiling. So and I think I'm pretty good at it, as you could tell, because I was onto him right there in the beginning. So if I'm so good at profiling because I've talked to so many, really thousands of liberal jerks over the years, a police officer's dealing with thousands of people on the streets, they're probably pretty good at profiling too. All right, so getting back to the issues. So, you know, think about that. All these people that keep talking about the First Amendment, the First Amendment does not give you the freedom to go around and speak your mind about anything and everything in any particular way. Okay? You do not have the freedom of speech to say a lot of things. And one of the things is incitement of violence. And if you're advocating for a terrorist organization, you are inciting violence. And if I was exercising my First Amendment and supporting any terrorist organization other than, I'd be in trouble. I would be in trouble. Someone said in the chat room, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. That's not true. You can yell fire in a crowded theater. There might actually be a fire. What you cannot do is is cause a panic that results in people getting injured or killed. So if there's not a fire in a crowded theater and you yell fire and everybody storms out and everyone's okay, you're not in trouble. But if those people storm out and get hurt and killed, well, then you're in trouble. That's the free speech violation. There's a guy in Jupiter arrested the other day for saying things that he wanted to do to President Trump. He didn't do them, he just said them. He's going to go to prison. Old man in Jupiter. You see that story in the news? You know, so no, you just don't have the freedom of speech to say what it is you want to say whenever you say it. That is, I know that's common thinking for a lot of people, but that's not the way of the world. And I want you to think about it. Oh, rack your mind for this. When have you heard people advocate for terrorist organizations in the public, other than the ones that hate Jews? You don't. You don't, because you can't. That is the reality of it. So no, these deportations are going to continue. They should continue, and they will continue. And now, after the bottom of the hour break, I got a bunch more I want to get into, but I just I want to take a moment to talk about Mike Lindell, of course, and MyPillow. I mean, there's incredible deals going on right now at mypillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout. You know, you can use our promo code Kane on all of the specials at mypillow.com, no matter what it says. And you know, I have pretty much every product. I've bought them all. I've not gotten any of them comp from Mike Lindell. They do reach out to me from time to time and ask me if I want this or that. I always have it. So I don't know, give it to somebody else. I already have it. And I don't mind paying because I use our promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, because the prices are so low. You know, the MyPillow towels are really my favorite. Outside of the bedding, the MyPillow 6-piece towel set, which is just $39.98 with our promo code Kane, is my favorite. And when we were on our cruise last week, we're on a luxury cruise ship, right? Celebrity Cruise Line is an upscale, it's like a yacht. So they have nice towels and everything, but they're not My Pillow towels. I'm here to tell you. You know, you really don't appreciate what a towel is until you have a My Pillow towel. Other towels, all they do is spread the water around your body. That's all they do. The My Pillow towel, you are dry as a bone. And you know that feeling when you get cold when you get out of the shower? That's because the water's evaporating off your body and it makes you feel cold. When you dry with the My Pillow towels, you don't have that feeling because you are dry. It's amazing. They come in many, many different colors, and $39.98 with our promo code Kane. It's free shipping site-wide on all orders over $75 with our promo code Kane. And the spring mega sales going on right now. There's huge sales on all of the My Pillow sheets, the Giza sheets, the Percow sheets, a whole bunch of new colors and patterns on the sheets. Incredible deals. Go to mypillow.com, use our promo code Kane, and load up. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio. It's the Steve Show with Brian Craig.
Scott Shannon here on the Steve Kane Show with Amazing Brian. Just a reminder that at 10 this morning, we're back to the rock and roll music on the True Oldies channel.
Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast.
It's a mostly cloudy 75 degrees, and later on this afternoon, we will see a high of 80 degrees, accompanied by some clouds, a bit of showers, and perhaps a heavy thunderstorm that could bring some damaging winds. This evening looks to be a low of 63, and that will be accompanied by some showers as well. And tomorrow looks to be a high of 78 degrees with a low of 66, and that may be accompanied by a couple of afternoon showers.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Watch for construction of Beeline Highway, Blue Heron Boulevard to North Lake Boulevard, Flintmore Road, Congress Avenue to Military Trail. Spot something on the roads, call the traffic pound 250 keyword West Palm traffic. I'm Ron Herson.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. EBKC is your best bet for super OTB action this weekend. Check out Oaklawn's Apple Blossom Handicap, the Maker's Mark Mile Stakes, and more. The Paddock is the perfect place to catch all the OTB and sports action with over 140 HD TVs and delicious food. And make plans now to be here for the Kentucky Derby Fest, May 3rd with barbecue, music, hat contests, mint juleps, and more. For more info, go to pbkennelclub.com.
We're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Listen, Wayne, I just received my 7th and 8th set of Lakeland sheets. This time we got 3 other ones, which we had never had. I got one for my husband for Christmas. He loves it. Oh my God. And especially with the cold days and nights we've been having the last few months in Florida. I got 2 more. I send them to my friends for Christmas now, and they just love them. Absolutely love them.
And I have the flannels too. You're like Goldilocks. They keep you the same temperature all night long.
Yes. So, perfect. The guy just has a great product.
The thing with Mike Lindell sheets, all of them, the fitted sheet at the bottom fits perfectly
Well,
on
the
mattress.
filthy
Every
one,
other
you're
sheet,
welcome
you
to
can't
call
get
me
the
about
floors on.
anything on your
It's
mind.
almost impossible. Even after having
You
them
wanna
for
talk
years
about
and
tariffs,
washing
call
them
me,
I don't know
butch
how
up.
many times, they still fit perfectly.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
You're probably going to be on the next My Pillow commercial.
No, in fact,
so
the
you know,
judge
thank you.
issue is the #1 story in America today.
Uh, You heard Lynn from Boynton. She loves her My Pillow sheets.
If I want to
At a huge discount.
talk
Use
about
promo
Twitch
code
streaming, I'll defer to your
KANE at
expertise.
checkout at mypillow.com.
As a loser gamer.
Again, on the line, Scott Messamore from Cut My Kilowatt. Scott's going to tell you all how he can save you boatloads of money for the rest of the time you live in your home off your electric bill.
My claim to fame is Radiant Barrier. I brought that to South Florida 15 years ago, and I think I launched it with you guys on your show. It's the cheapest, easiest way to really create a game-changing situation in your house. You know, your attic gets super, super hot in the summer, and the Radiant Barrier just reflects all that energy that comes in through the roof and shoots it right back out the roof, lowering the temperature in your attic 30 or 40 degrees, and also cutting off the radiant heat wave that heats up your roof and then heats up your whole entire house. It just burns that energy from the sun and shoots it right back out the roof. And it's just a game changer for the house. It usually cuts their AC runtime in half, lowers the electric bill about 30 to 40%.
I'm going to give you Scott's number for My Kilowatts. This is Scott's cell phone, 954-939-1500. That's 954-939-1500.
Hey, I want to say God bless us that Trump won this year.
Absolutely.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 48 years on the air.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. This is Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. This coffee detox is going better than I thought. I used the cruise to do this. I cut back my coffee Wednesday or Thursday last week on the cruise. They have a coffee bar just like at a Starbucks on the cruise, and I started cutting back on the cruise, and it's just I just feel like a little weird, but that's okay. All right, let's go. 1-888-465-2631. I'm kind of like in a 28-day self-rehab. Okay, I can only imagine what it's like for people to go through rehab on crack or whatever else they're addicted to. Oh, my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. Good morning. Very, very appropriate to be the next caller after that crude monster that called you earlier that has a mouth like a toilet, and the whole left has a mouth like the toilet. I mean, these judges, the first.
By the way, you know that caller you're talking about that I dumped. Since that call, he's called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's just since the call, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. He's called 18 times since that call. That's him.
Look at our country. You know, you're a very logical person. I agree with you on 99.9% of everything. And when I don't agree with you, we can have a discussion. We don't have to attack verbally and everything else. These people that are protesting all over this country, they're all old farts like myself. I mean, you look at it. They're a gray-haired bunch of leftist hippies that this country is. Who the hell would want to let this country fall into a pit like these people? They're disgusting, man. They're all over the country. I don't care if Soros or anyone's paying them. This is just gross. And the judges, you brought up the judges. They're part of the whole thing. The politicians, the judges, the media. They hate this country. They don't want this country to be what we think it should be. I mean, they don't want this country to be normal.
Well, with this, what did you hear the top of the show? Okay. This, I want to get back to what I said, because I don't think anybody has picked up on this. The Supreme Court ruled because the judge was going to get ignored, and Congress was going to move in and take his district away or do something beyond, not an impeachment. They were going to do something that's never been done before and show how weak the federal judges really are. And this lawfare insurrection that was taking place. Like, today Boasberg this guy's a real radical. He has a hearing today on holding Trump officials in contempt of court for ignoring his order on the deportations. Now, with the Supreme Court ruling, he should not even have that hearing.
Brian, they're all, the justice with that statue with the scales. The court system in this country's done. It's been infiltrated by these maniacs, the politicians. It's all one big cabal. I mean, I can't imagine what the summer is going to be like with these protests. And you're right with these judges, but these judges are political.
I think the summer's not going to be that bad. These old people can't take the heat.
It might be.
I noticed. After I turned 50, I got to hire a lawn guy. The Florida heat gets to me. I can't be out in the sun all day. You think these old ladies and old men? When I went to that Tesla protest a couple weeks ago, and I talked about. Oh my gosh! And I won't be doing that again after I saw that one girl get clocked by that liberal in New York. It's more I didn't realize how dangerous of a situation I put myself in.
There's a couple guys in Poland that do the same thing. They're from Poland and they're immigrants, and they're walking around, I don't know what city it is, but they're hitting all these protests, getting cursed out. And they wear those shirts, they wear the hats, everything. It's incredible. But you know that these judges, there were 5, once again, you got your females. 4 females voted against Trump. Amy Coney Barrett is disgusting. You don't know what you're going to get when you put these judges in. They're fakes. They're all fakes. And they're not.
Well, you know, listen. She gave Trump COVID, right? Amy Coney Barrett. She almost killed the president in his first term. She gave him COVID, and he had it pretty bad. He almost didn't make it. So, you know, I don't know if that was by accident or not.
He picked her off of a list, and then you got the other one. You got the.
Well, I told you guys there was a ruling that she was wrong on a couple weeks ago. I can't remember what the ruling was, and conservatives started going after her. And I said, what this is going to do is push her to the left. Well, look at Sandra Day O'Connor was appointed by Reagan. She was the first woman on the court. So Reagan's concerned. And then what happened? She was ruling in favor of abortion every time it came up.
What do you think is going to happen if they put a woman in as Chief Justice?
Oh, God help us. God help us. The next one is I hope that Justice Thomas retires during Trump's term here, so we can get someone young and male and trustworthy.
It's going to be conservative. They all went to these colleges that are leftist colleges. They've all been indoctrinated. You sat in a college in Florida as an adult. Can you imagine the influence a young person had? And you have to have a real strong backbone to resist these professors because they're all commies.
Well, maybe he should appoint Mark Levin to the court. Could you imagine?
You know who should report? You know who should go on the court? The guy from Utah.
Which one? Mitt Romney? No, I'm kidding.
No, Utah. He's conservative as hell. I can't get my mind with his name. I can't right now pick it up. But you know who I'm talking about. Utah. There's only 2 of them.
Yeah.
And he's been around a while.
Yeah.
He's really conservative.
Listen, this is the deal. Once they get that lifetime appointment, they don't have to kiss butt anymore, and you get to find out what they're truly about. That's just what happens. But Mark Levin's not as young as I would like. Is he 60 yet? He might be 60-ish. But Mark Levin, he's always sick. You know, he's had heart problems forever. But you know, other than Mark Levin, who's a lawyer that you could? Alina Habba? Would you trust Alina Habba?
I would trust her.
That'd be a good pick to the Supreme Court. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. I bet she'd have a specially low-cut robe too. But maybe that's why Trump made her that. Maybe that's why he made her a U.S. attorney in New Jersey.
Hey, she's very good for the eye, though. I got to tell you, she's a beautiful lady, and she's got class. She's really got class. I mean, you know, and it's not because you look, like I said, I opened up with this. How can one party in this country fly people? I mean, they actually flew people from foreign countries, terrorists and everything else, and put them up in 5-star hotels and paid for their meals and everything else. What kind of people would do this for a country? That's all I got to ask you. I mean, that to me, what they did with these immigrants. I mean, come on, and they will refuse to call them illegal. They still say they're undocumented.
Well, there's this one guy that's getting deported. The news keep calling him. Let me pull up this story. Let me see if I have. I know I have this. I treat this. This is. I was reading this morning, but I tweet so much I might have to go way down and find it later. But they're calling him not an illegal. They're calling him the Maine man because he's from Maine. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. MSNBC referred to El Salvadorian illegal alien as Maryland man 120 times. Maryland man. He's an illegal from El Salvador, but they call him a Maryland man. Give me a break.
Well, how about this one? And this has to do with all of the left, okay? Sunday they put Adam Schiff on to tell you the economy's in the toilet, and the expert on the economy. Adam Schiff, this is Meet the Press. Enough is enough with these people. I mean, I sit there on Sunday, I have to watch these two shows, and I say to myself, I can't, they are the enemy of the people, man, and Trump is right. They are totally, if you have common sense, you're not going to fly people.
Yeah.
And say, well, and that I couldn't afford to go to when I wanted to go to New York City.
Yeah, yeah. All right, Richie, appreciate the call. Everything he said was right. He's very passionate today. Now, all this stock market business yesterday, people just having meltdowns and everything else. And, you know, if you take my advice and call Jupiter Joe Thomas, you don't have to worry about things like that. Because with annuities, you don't have to worry about the ups and downs of the market, right? You don't have to risk your money because your money's not at risk. You don't have to stress out, oh, this, the Dow, the NASDAQ. Take all that anxiety, take all that stress, and get rid of it. Give Joe Thomas a call. With annuities, there's no risk from the stock market losses that people panic about. There's no risk of outliving your money. You have guaranteed income for the rest of your life. Your money is never at risk. It's really a no-risk retirement plan. It's amazing. Now, he's offering free phone consultations that you could take advantage of no matter where you're located. All right? And when you call him, he'll ask you some questions, and he'll give you a custom proposal based on you, your situation, your goals, your financial situation. And also make sure you ask him about the bonus on day one. He'll tell you more about that. Here's his number, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And if you missed the number, you can just find it easily on his website. It's easy to remember, JupiterJoe.com. JupiterJoe.com. All right, calls on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back.
Hard Truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on the Steve Kane Show.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
To share a great experience with Jupiter Joe. My husband and I started listening to you a few years ago, and that's when we learned about Jupiter Joe Thomas. We're seniors with no pension and collect Social Security. All our investments were in stocks and IRAs until we heard about Jupiter Joe. Speaking of having your money work for you. So we got in touch with him, and he went above and beyond trying to locate all our diversifications. He answered all our questions clearly and returned every phone call. He recommended an annuity that enabled us to get a safe monthly income for life. So I just want to tell everyone, if you're in need of additional income, especially with the high cost of everything these days, please call Joe Thomas. It's no cost to you. He is so professional, knowledgeable, trustworthy, and you can put total confidence in him. My husband and I can't say enough good things about Jupiter Joe and his staff.
I want to thank you for your kind words for Jupiter Joe Thomas. If you want to call Joe Thomas, I'm going to give you his number. It's a no-charge consultation, which you can take advantage of no matter where you're located. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And online, JupiterJoe.com.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious, crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside, everything homemade, nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane.
All right. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, Tuesday. We are back, of course, from our week off last week. Okay, so before I go back to the phones, this guy I mentioned, they're calling this illegal from El Salvador, a Maryland man. This guy, look at it. Listen to this. His name's Garcia. He has an outstanding order of removal since 2019. So he has been a fugitive from justice. He's been ordered by an immigration court to get out of America 6 years ago. But he's a Maryland man. This is from Newsbusters. Newsbusters put together a little bit of a montage, all right? Listen to this.
Critical hearing today in the case of a Maryland father mistakenly sent to that notorious prison in El Salvador.
Attorneys for the Maryland man who was mistakenly deported to a prison in El Salvador are making another push for his return today.
It wasn't that he was mistakenly deported. He should have been deported. There's been an order since 2019. They sent him to the prison. I guess they weren't supposed to send him there. I guess. I don't know.
Trump administration heads to federal court today after being accused of wrongfully deporting a Maryland father to El Salvador.
A Maryland father. It's like me. Oh, the Florida man, Brian Craig. Give me a break.
The Maryland man deported to El Salvador after an administrative error.
There's actually a court hearing involving the Maryland father. The Maryland father's case is in court.
And happening now, a hearing for a Maryland man.
Details about a Maryland man. Tonight, the Maryland man.
The Maryland man?
Maryland father.
It sounds like a band, doesn't it? The Maryland man. He's an illegal from El Salvador who was ordered to be deported 6 years ago.
Protected legal status. A Maryland father with protected status.
A Maryland father with protected legal status. A Maryland father with protected legal status.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You know, these people. The media people are really stupid, aren't they? They really are. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Kenny from Palm Beach.
Hey, Kenny.
How you doing, Brian?
All right.
On the subject of the Supreme Court ruling, can you clarify the second part of it where they have to give the deportee or whatever you call them time to respond or something like that? Did you read?
No, I didn't. Do you really think I read a Supreme Court brief? I'm not a lawyer. If I read it, I wouldn't even understand it.
And on, I meant on online, YouTube or something. But there's a second part to it I don't fully understand as far as how much time they have to give this person to respond or something to that effect.
Oh, I don't know. They can respond on the flight to El Salvador. I mean, you mean these are, listen, these are, it's an invading army of barbarians that they've sent here, right? I mean, this gang, they're not just, all gangs are bad, right, in Venezuela. But this Trinde de Aquafina, whatever they're called, they're a prison gang. So that's even worse than a regular street gang, right? I mean, these are the worst of the worst. And so how do you have somebody that's an animal like that respond to anything?
I don't know. I don't think they're going to pay much attention to it anyway.
Exactly. What I was talking about was the reason the court ruled this way is because Trump was going to ignore the courts and continue to do it. Who does a guy in a robe think he is telling the sitting president of the United States that he cannot deport an invading army? And President Trump, a couple weeks ago, he made a good point to a reporter who had asked, and this was in one of those Oval Office executive order signing things that turned into a press conference, and they said, do you have the right to deport these people? And he says, you're asking the wrong questions. Did Biden have the right to bring them here? And I thought that was a great question. And of course not. How can you bring rapists and murderers into the country as President of the United States? What gives you the authority to do that? It seems like you're violating your oath there.
And give them Social Security and the right to vote.
And give them anything, right? All right, man, take care. Appreciate the call. I mean, there are some things that are just so absurd, they're not even worthy of debate. I mean, how could you argue in favor of all of these things? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine, Brian.
Hey, Jeff.
It was another great day for President Trump, and he even acknowledged and gave a shout out to the Supreme Court for standing up for what's right. But that should be happening every day with what the left's doing, and with what the media and the left's doing, standing up for criminal illegals, is intolerable. I mean, it should be a crime, I feel.
Maybe it is. Listen, I believe that these Trinde guys are terrorists, right? I mean, is it, and I was asking earlier, there's 3 terrorist organizations I named: ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and the Ku Klux Klan. What do you think, Jeff, would happen if I was on the air advocating for ISIS, Al-Qaeda, or the Ku Klux Klan? Do you think everybody, oh, well, it's First Amendment, Brian could do that.
They'd remove you from the air as fast as they could.
And maybe arrest me for inciting violence, because these are terrible organizations.
Left does that, and they overlook it and give it credibility that they're doing it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
The mainstream news media is in for a rude awakening, because within the first year or two of Trump's making America first and just steamrolling our industries and lowering unemployment and gas and getting us oil independent, all this stuff's going to add up to even a better second term than his first term. And we didn't even think he.
I told you guys early on, when everything was settled years ago, that we're going to find that having the 2 non-consecutive terms is going to be better. And I told all you guys that. And look at it, because he just doesn't care what these people say. He's just going to do it. He's not listening to the judges. He's not listening to the media. He doesn't care what the opposition says.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't care. And, he's on his agenda, America first. And I just don't understand how any American can't see clearly the difference between Trump, even rhinos, let alone the left's agenda. Their agenda is not America first. And I'm still baffled to a point that how can these people not wake up?
Because they're, well, if you look at the protesters, a lot's been made that a lot of them are old-time senior citizens. These are
being paid, Brian, again.
I don't know if they're being paid, but they're old hippie types. That's all. They're old hippie types, and they just never grew up. It's arrested development.
And the new kid, this is kind of a little add-on, but I still believe that we need education reform the most, because without that, our kids are not going to be taught correctly. And that's going to win for generation to generation is in a new school system, and Trump's on it. That's right. All right, Jeff, take care.
A lot of people have been asking me the last couple of days how many stocks. I talk about this all the time with Joe Thomas. I don't own stocks. The only stocks I own are because I wanted to own or some of those Trump stocks. That's it. I do not own stocks. I've never liked the stock market, and I used to, and I didn't like this ups and down stuff. I know over the course of time you always come at. I don't like the stock market. I don't own any stocks. And not many people in my position say that. Everybody wants to act like there's some player with some big stock portfolio. I own 0 stocks except for the Trump stocks, and that's just because I want to own a piece of Trump. I want to back Trump, and True Social is going to be at some point is going to be thought of as one of the great online platforms ever, because it has Trump's name all over. And if you notice, Trump does most of his communicating through True Social. But that's just kind of like that's not an investment. That's, I don't know, what would you call that? I don't know. Because a lot of people bought the Trump stocks. You're not really buying it as an investment. You just want to be, part of Trump and support Trump. That's it. No, but I don't own stocks. And that's why I talk about Joe Thomas with the annuities, or William Youngerman with gold and silver, And that's the kind of stuff I think are smart. And of course, real estate. Although we don't have a real estate sponsor on the program, we should. You can't go wrong with that. We can't go wrong with annuities, gold, silver, and real estate. That's the best. And there's a like stress-free investments, right? No doubt about it. All right, now our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You know, that first caller I had the dump, he has called. When I was talking to Richie, I said he had called 18 times. So let me check now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so he's called 10, 20, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 35 times. He's called 35 times since the call that I dumped. 35 times. Oh my goodness. That's the left. Out of control. Out of control and filled with rage. That's the type of person you see at the Tesla dealership protest. Isn't that something? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. He's, well, you know, hey. That's what happens. Now, I want to tell everyone about the incredible free doorbell camera offer from Sloman. You know, that doorbell camera offer is amazing. No matter where you are, you could be anywhere in the world. You could be in the bathroom. You could be on your back porch. You could be at Publix. If there is movement in the front of your house, you get a notification on your cell phone from your Sloman's doorbell camera. It's absolutely amazing. Now, obviously, it's part of a security system for your home, but it's also a great convenience. To get a notification every time there's movement at your door, you got an Amazon delivery, you got the DoorDash, you've got a door-to-door salesman. You know they're there before they even know they're there, really, because you get the notification before they get to the door. And you can get a doorbell camera from Sloman's for free with the installation of your Sloman Shield. And that's not all. Sloman's are going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts for the doors and the windows, a lifetime warranty, a backup battery, plus you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman's Shield. Give them a call, 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME. Pretty easy number to remember, huh? 1-800-ALARM-ME. All right, 1 hour down, 2 to go. My name's Brian Craig. It's our first week back from our week off. I'm still in a little bit of recovery from the trip. I have lost tons of weight, which I'm going to talk about more when we get back. Our number's toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I got a lot more to talk about when we get back, but you're welcome to call in about anything we brought up so far. I will recap my take on the judges because I think it's a pretty unique one in the Supreme Court ruling. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and heard in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95. Jackpots and table games featuring all
All right. We are back. That was a short break. I don't know. The breaks are shorter with you here, Jeremy, than Mike. I don't know what's going on, because there wouldn't be time for me to run to the men's room if I had to with some of these breaks. All right, welcome back, everyone. Hour number 2 has begun. If you'd like to call in about anything I brought up in the first hour, you are free to do that. I will recap the thing on the judges in a few minutes, but first I want to talk for a minute or two about the Michelle Obama podcast, okay? And, of course, I've been podcasting over 10 years, and I have a very big podcast, a huge podcast, actually. Thank you to you guys who listen and follow me on my podcast, the Brian Craig Show podcast, on all podcast platforms. And I do also upload it to my YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. So I know a little bit about podcasting. So Michelle Obama's podcast is failing. So why is it failing? You know, why is no one listening to the Michelle Obama podcast? You know, they've been, and I know why, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. But they have been telling us for years that, MAGA should be terrified of Michelle Obama. If Michelle Obama ever decided to run, she is so popular. She's so popular. Trump would lose. Everybody would lose. Even Hillary would lose to her. Michelle Obama, and they've been telling us we should be scared. And even a lot of MAGA Republicans have been saying, Michelle Obama. And we're finding out what her popularity is. People don't like her. People are not interested in her. So why does she have no listeners? And a lot of people may say she's boring. That's true. I did listen to the first episode when it debuted. But that's not why her podcast is not popular. If it weren't for President Trump doing something and Elon Musk, her podcast would be #1 in the world. If it were not for Elon Musk and Donald Trump, Michelle Obama's podcast would have more listeners than Joe Rogan's podcast. The reason that her podcast has no listeners is because USAID doesn't exist anymore. And USAID would have done what they always do, artificially inflate the popularity of some liberal garbage that no one's really interested in. That's it. That's it. Look at all we saw this with a few things. They were propping up Politico's subscriptions, the New York Times subscriptions. And, you know, and I give you an example how this works in podcasting. Ben Shapiro's not really popular. But the Daily Wire I've talked about this a lot. They have spent many millions of dollars promoting his podcast when it first launched. And they probably have since, so that it's pushed on everyone online that listens to podcasts. Well, that's what USAID would have done with Michelle Obama. Even with Trump in office, if Doge had not existed and USAID was still in existence, they would have poured money to get fake views and downloads of her podcast. But what we're seeing now is that what her real popularity level is. And if you look at the Michelle Obama podcast, she's about as popular as the Meghan Markle podcast, okay? And no one likes Meghan Markle. And she's tanking too. So Michelle Obama has never been popular. It's been some BS that they promoted. And USAID has artificially inflated other podcasts, I'm sure, not that they only would have done Michelle's, but this is what they also do with book sales. Hillary Clinton's had like 86 books out. She's got one out all the time. #1, New York Times bestseller. Artificially inflating book sales. But no, Elon and Doge are the reason that her podcast is crashing and burning. And I promise you, if USAID was still in existence, Michelle Obama's podcast would be the most listened to podcast in the world. It'd all be fake, but nobody would know it, right? And we're seeing how. And I must say, I listened to that first episode. Her brother's a weirdo. I mean, he's like RuPaul, but RuPaul's like fun. everybody likes RuPaul, but he's what I mean. He's kind of looks like drag queen. Is he a drag queen? I don't know. Maybe he is. But I've never really listened to Michelle speak before. I've heard Michelle like say a word or two at a time, but I haven't heard her say more than a couple sentences at a time. And I listened to that first episode whenever it debuted a few weeks ago with her weirdo brother, and she's classless and incredibly uninteresting. There's nothing about Michelle Obama that is in the least bit interesting. And she's really a turnoff. She's got a negative charisma and a negative personality. But I'm glad that her true popularity is finally being exposed. I'm so tired of saying, oh, you should be worried about Michelle. Michelle Obama could decide just at the drop of a hat that she's running for president or Senate, and that's it. Really? She can't even get people to listen to her podcast. If Donald Trump started a podcast with Elon, how many people you think would tune into it? Everybody. That's right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Vince.
Hey, Vince.
Yeah, you're pretty much right on all of what you're saying about USAID. I don't know if you remember in like the early 2010s, a lot of people were talking about the dead internet theory. I don't know if you remember any of that.
No.
All right. Well, basically, it was like there was not as many views online as they portrayed on like YouTube and all of these platforms for all the left-wing liberal gobbledygook, you know, and basically they were saying that the internet's not really as packed with people as they say they are. A lot of the views were made by bots even before we knew what bots did, you know, and
yes,
that was back in the early 2010s. But beyond that, you know, Michelle Obama, I agree with you that she does not have the pull that her husband did for whatever reason, whether she's boring or comes
Well, I don't know what pull he has. Listen, in 2008, it was a big deal to have the first black president. So that was a trend. I mean, you know, but you know, so was the hula hoop at one time, you know. So you know, but I don't know what kind of pull he has today. If Barack had a podcast, I don't think people would listen to it either. Now again, if USAID was around, it'd be the #1 podcast in the world, beating Joe Rogan too. But there's no USAID to artificially inflate their downloads.
Yeah, they've been lying to us about everything for so long with ratings and all these focus groups that they come up with. So, you know, the money's all gone that they were able to steal, hopefully, I hope, you know. But the problem is that if people get back into power, even in one state, they'll steal whatever they can steal.
They have shut, it's gone. So they'd have to, you know, it took them decades to build that corrupt apparatus. They wouldn't be able to just do it. No, it's gone. It's gone. And people are onto it too. So if they came back into power and started doing it, they'd be called out real quick.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty riveting to see all these people. Like, I went through Boca. I don't know. I know you live in Boca, but I was in East Boca on Saturday, and they had that protest out there that they were trying to chin up, and there was all old Jewish men and women.
What were they protesting?
Elon, Tesla, Trump, just everything.
I wonder how many of in East Boca, like how many of them drove there in their Tesla. I wonder.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. I said I bet a bunch of them drove here in their Tesla, hit it behind the parking lot. Yet they're all liberals. You know, that's the crazy thing, is that most people that own Teslas are liberals for the most part. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a shame that they're burning their own people's cars. It's the craziest thing to think that their popularity is going to go up because of that.
Yeah.
It just makes them look more unhinged, which they really are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that Michelle has been exposed, because I am so tired of them. You better be careful. Michelle could decide tomorrow that she wants to run for the Senate in New York, and that's it, or something. You know what I mean? I mean, come on.
You know, that's like LeBron's son having a seat open on the bench for L.A. You know, if she went for New York, of course she would probably win New York. It's a left-wing blue stronghold. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If they had to go that route instead of doing something a little less obvious, you know, then it would just look like she's just trying to pander to the and they're not going to go anywhere. Look at AOC and all these other people. They're infighting in their party alone that they don't talk about is the reason why their party's falling apart.
Oh yeah, yeah. And AOC, I like she got busted. She goes to the. Did you see her on the flight? She got caught flying first class to the Down with the Rich Man Bernie Sanders event.
Oh, I bet.
And they caught her in first class. She probably went in first class because the drinks are free. She looks like she's got a drinking problem, AOC. She really does. Her eyes. I know those eyes and those puffy cheeks. That's booze in it. That used, you know. All right, take care, man. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yeah.
My name is Nicholas Uncle.
You got to speak up. Oh, here we go. Oh, boy. Another. Speak up.
My name is Nicholas Uncle from Maine.
I cannot understand a word you were saying. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. All right, listen, let's take our first break of the second hour. Oh, my goodness. My name is Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
Patients. We want to be able to help you with your neuropathy issues as well. You have numbness, burning, pain, tingling, lack of sleep, or balance issues, please come see us and let us help you with that problem. There's hope out there for you. We've had thousands of patients come through Lighthouse Medical Center. Being able to see the quality improved in their life and being able to help them and their family has been a blessing to us and a blessing to them. Call for a free consultation with us today. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642.
If you're a homeowner or with a homeowners association and your roof is old or compromised, you need to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. Laporta Roofing has been in the roofing and construction business since 1984. Thousands of roof installations and thousands of satisfied customers. Did you know that in the state of Florida, you can open a roofing company and borrow someone else's license? Tom Laporta is the holder of his roofing and general contractor's licenses. Not like the other companies that borrow other people's licenses. So be sure Tom Laporta and his team are honest, knowledgeable, and reliable, and he'll never sell you a roof you don't need. Laporta Roofing carries all insurance, including workers' compensation on all of its employees, not just a waiver like other contractors. Laporta Roofing can handle any type of roofing job too: residential roofing, HOAs, condominiums, and churches. If it's roofing, Laporta Roofing can do it. So call Tom Laporta on his cell phone, 954-604-4602, or connect online at LaportaRoofing.com. That number again is 954-604-4602. Laporta Roofing, the go-to roofing company you can trust.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True Oldies FLA.
All righty, we are back. My name's Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Calls on hold, stand by. Now, I mentioned this in the first hour. I'm sitting down in a chair in the radio station today. I never sit while I'm on the air, ever. I always stand, and the reason I do that is, you know, you have a higher energy level when you're standing on the air, and really, I think chairs really shouldn't be in the radio studios of any radio station. And this chair that I'm sitting in, I normally use as a table for all of my copy. So I have all the phone numbers for all the, you know, all the sponsors when I do a live read. But I'm using the chair today because my pants are falling off my body. I came in today, I'm walking down the hall here, and my pants are falling down. I've lost so much weight thanks to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. And I was talking yesterday when when I got off the ship and I was walking to my car with my luggage, I had to stop, I don't know how many times. I'm going down the gangplank and everything, going through the ship, just to pull my pants up. And I was wearing my belt. And I've stopped weighing myself. I have not weighed myself in a couple of weeks. But I know that the weight is melting off because my pants, even with my belt having so many holes punched into it, it's almost around my body a second time. Doesn't even work anymore, the belt. My pants are falling down. And the shirt that I'm wearing, I was in shock. I was in the men's room right before I went on the air. And I don't usually look at myself in the mirror, but my pants were falling down. I was pulling my pants up. And I looked at myself on a profile. My stomach has not been this flat since I think I met my wife, okay? And this year will be my 29th wedding anniversary. So I have lost so much weight. It's absolutely amazing. And my wife was telling me, Brian, this weekend, you got to go buy some new jeans and some new pants. And I was like, well, I don't know. I think maybe I'll continue losing weight. I don't know if it's time yet to go buy a new wardrobe. And it's all thanks to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. And as I've been telling you, I am not exercising. I'm eating foods I like. Those of you who were with us on the cruise last week, I'm sure you noticed that. I was eating what you were eating right off the menu. I'm not taking any medication. I'm not on Ozempic or anything. It is absolutely amazing. In fact, I was looking. I could see it in my face and neck, and a lot too. And in my stomach today is amazing. And I've lost the weight in all the places that I wanted to lose weight. And I was looking during the break at a video that I made 6 months ago on YouTube when I went to the Trump International Golf Resort and made my documentary on the second Trump assassin in Florida. And I saw, I'm looking at myself and I'm like, holy smokes. I mean, I can really see how much weight I have lost in my face looking at this. It is absolutely amazing. I'm going to give you the number to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. When you call, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the True Oldies channel. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. The shirt I'm wearing barely fits. I mean, this is like a couple sizes too big now. I don't know. Oh my goodness. Maybe I'll start shopping in the boys department instead of the men's department. I don't know. I have lost just so much weight. And it's been without effort. I'm not hungry. It's just melting away. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightloss.secret.com. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey.
You know, first of all, I can definitely see you lost the weight, man. You look great.
Thank you.
As you know, most liberals are not just missing a couple of screws, they're missing the whole toolbox. Well, you know, we're talking about now these deportations. Well, the other day, I went to a liberal and I said, isn't it great that all these low-life criminals are getting thrown out? Oh, what about due process? I said, you don't need due process. They're illegal. Oh, yes, you do. So anyway, when I went home, I looked it up and made a printout. I think next time I see him, I'll bring it. So I brought it over to him. And what does he say? Oh, what, did you make that up? That can't be real. You have to have due process. So these people just refuse to understand.
You don't give due process to foreign armies and terrorists. Terrorists do not get due process.
I can't wait to see this guy today. I'm going to probably see him later. And has shown that, the Supreme Court now agrees that no due process is needed. You could just throw these people out. Oh, because these people are just sick. You know, they're insane. They don't want to hear anything. They just want to go believe what they believe. And no matter what, if it's right or wrong, they go what they say. I don't get it, but this is how they are. You know, one more thing I'll say. A woman came up to me when I was shopping on Saturday, right up to my face. I had my Make America Great hat on, and she's looking at me in pure disgust. And then she sticks her tongue out at me. So I says, wait a minute, that mean you like me? And she says, get that hat off. What do you have to wear that hat for? I said, don't you like to make America great again? When was America ever great?
Yeah, that's. I love how they say that. When was America ever great? I mean, they don't. So it's not just the Trump time. They don't think that's the brainwashing that the left have. They don't think the country's ever been great.
Yeah, I said, when was the last great? Yeah, the last time President Trump was president, that was great. Now he's great again. And she just walks away. These people, I don't think they're ever going to change. They're just going to be always like that. And unfortunately, there's too many of them. And I don't know how we can stop that brainwash.
There's not that many of them. If there were a lot of liberals, would these protests be filled with old ladies and old men from the retirement homes?
Exactly. I don't know, but they're still.
By the way, I got a question for you guys, because I've been away from Fort Lauderdale for a long time. I go down there. My mother lives there, but she's in a different part of Fort Lauderdale. When I saw all those old lady and old men gay activists at that Tesla dealership a couple weeks ago, I was wondering, are there still gay bars? And let me ask you why I say that, okay? When I used to live in downtown Fort Lauderdale, when we were on the old 1400 WFTL, if you guys remember, way back when in the 90s, and because the radio station was off of Oakland Park Boulevard, 19th Street in Oakland. It was just south of Oakland Park Boulevard on 19th Street in Fort Lauderdale. And I lived in downtown Fort Lauderdale, and there were gay bars all over the place. And I'm just wondering, are there gay bars anymore? And the reason I ask that is there a need for them? Because back then, gays were in the closet. Now, it's no big deal. So don't they just go to like regular bars now? Do they really need? Is there a market for gay bars now?
Yeah, I have no idea, man. That's an interesting question. I would think probably there's still plenty.
Well, I'm sure I'm sure there are gay bars, but are there that many? Because I just don't think they need them anymore. They got the grinder for the hookups. And nobody cares at the regular bars if you're gay anymore. So I don't think there's a need. I bet you, I'm not going to try this out, okay? I'll let you do this, Doug or Richie. But I bet you that if you went to a gay bar, it's like Cocoon with Steve Guttenberg. It's like a retirement home. I bet it's all old people.
Yeah, I usually don't go to Fort Lauderdale too much myself anymore. I used to live in Fort Lauderdale, but now.
Yeah, I bet you there are not that many gay bars anymore. All right, take care, Doug. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Yep, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I was calling from Fort Lauderdale because I was just listening to you guys about the gay bar.
Okay.
Okay, they're everywhere, still in Wilton Manors. And the cop cars are rainbow, and...
Come on. Excuse me, hold on. Wilton Manors is a gay village, by the way, for people that don't know. They have rainbow flags on the Wilton Manors police cars. Come on.
I mean it, Steve. I will go down there and send you pictures next time.
Well, I know... Well, you may have missed this that I said at the end. I'm sure... Wilton Manors is not a good example because it is a gay village. However, if you are you gay? No. Okay. My guess would be that if you went to a gay bar, even in Wilton Manors, that it's mostly senior citizens. That it's a
young people down there.
No, you don't need gay bars anymore. Gay's okay everywhere. And they hook up on apps now. So, there's no... Gay bars are going the way of Blockbuster Video.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
love you. Love listening to you. You're doing great things.
All right. Take care. Oh, my goodness. Are we going to get a run on calls about gay bars? Oh, my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is KJ.
All right, KJ.
I talked to you about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I'm calling from Oakland Park. Do parodies for Neil Rogers.
Oh, hey, long time no see. How you been? What's your name again? KJ. Okay, you're not the Boca Brian, Boca Brittany.
No, Boca Brittany was what?
What is Boca Brittany no longer with us?
Got cancer.
Oh my goodness. So you did parodies for Neil Rogers. What's like one of the big ones we might remember?
Christmas time, I would do Police Got My Pot.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. That's a good one. Yeah. So what's on your mind?
Anyway, I wanted to tell you, first of all, you're right about gay bars.
See?
All right, they're going the way of Blockbuster.
Yeah, that's right.
I want to tell you, I get the Sun Sentinel on Sunday and Wednesday, basically just to do the New York Times crossword puzzle. But I always read the opinion piece. And a lot of people have been talking about how Trump's going to have the 23rd Amendment repealed so he can run again for president.
I'm for that.
You heard about that? Yeah.
I think that's I think Trump's trolling them over that, but I would. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, somebody wrote a letter to the letter to the editor and said, "Oh, this would be great if they could repeal the 23rd Amendment so that Obama could run again with Hillary as his running mate." I fell on the floor laughing. All right. First of all, those two hate each other. And
yeah.
And Obama would never run for
yeah.
Only read about Michelle Obama. All right.
Yeah. That's true. This is an interesting thing because since you had your connection to Neil Rogers, Neil's dead, George is dead. Who was very nasty. George was always nasty to me. He was just a nasty man.
The thing about George Rodriguez is he was always after my wife. He was always after somebody's wife.
Was he really? Wow, that's not. Yeah, I never knew that about him. But who would want to be with George? Even when he was alive.
He got me my break doing bits for Neil Rogers because when the OJ thing happened, I was doing Beatles songs.
Oh yeah.
The seven Beatles songs.
So my point is, Neil's gone, George is dead, the Bird is dead, Boca Brittany, we don't know, but we're assuming might be dead. You may be the last surviving member of the Neil Rogers team.
And I'm going to be 71 in June.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God.
Now, I play music for a living. I played music I was 19, all right? And I don't play in bars or restaurants anymore. I play basically in, nursing homes.
Yeah.
Adult care centers. I love playing for these old folks.
Yep.
Living along. But I love to twist things around. I'll go in and I'll say, hey, happy Easter, everybody. Please remember, if you're Jewish, Easter Bunny will pass over.
Oh my goodness. He's very good. See, Neil Rogers had the best parodies, and you can see why. All right, good to hear from you. Take care. All right, take care. See, I was right about, I just thought that about gay. It just crossed my mind about gay bars. And everyone's telling me I'm right. If you're on hold, hang in there. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian Craig. Back after this.
Radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott Shannon here on the Steve Kane Show with Amazing Brian. Just a reminder that at 10 this morning, we're back to the rock and roll music on the True Oldies Channel.
Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast.
It's a mostly cloudy 75 degrees, and later on this afternoon, we will see a high of 80 degrees.
You ever heard of Neil Rogers?
No, I haven't.
That's crazy. I know. He was the #1 guy in the Miami market in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and he's forgotten.
Huh.
That tells you. I mean, #1. #1.
I'll have to look him up. Mike said if you just keep clicking it, it'll eventually...
Don't have to worry. Well, if you can, you can. If not, it's no big deal. Oh, there
And
we
then
go.
does he just pop on?
I already told him he was going to be on the phone.
Oh, okay.
But
whatever's best for you.
I'll see.
Okay.
My claim to fame is Radiant Barrier. I brought that to South Florida 15 years ago, and I think I launched it with you guys on your show. It's the cheapest, easiest way to really create a game-changing situation in your house. You know, your attic gets super, super hot in the summer, and the Radiant Barrier just reflects all that energy that comes in through the roof. It shoots it right into the roof, lowering the temperature of your attic 30 or 40 degrees, and also cutting off the radiant heat wave that heats up your roof and then heats up your whole entire. It just burns that energy from the sun, shoots it right back. It's just a game changer in people's house. It usually cuts their AC runtime in half, lowers their electric bill about 30 to 40%. I'm gonna give you Scott's number.
No, they're falling down. Someone said my pants. Have you seen me pick them up? They're like down to here. My underwear. They're just. It's just a. And I don't have my belt. It's just uncomfortable. I got to keep pulling them up. And you can see how baggy this shirt is. But I have lost so much of my stomach. But my pants, it's uncomfortable.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 48 years on.
Take him to a seamstress. All right. Oh, man. I stood up and my pants are just slipping. It's a very strange feeling. But it's good. All that weight's gone. All right, back to the phones, and I'll bring up some new stuff. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Richard. Steve's dead?
Come on. Come on.
All I hear is you.
Yeah.
Steve Kane is alive.
How long you been listening?
Off and on for 20 years.
Yeah. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Richard. I'm from New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Let me ask you.
About what?
He's still alive, right?
What do you have one sentence?
I voted for Trump twice, 3 times.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
No, all right, I'm sorry. There's one thing I wanted to say about that last score. He was talking about... Yeah, I think he did the right thing. He killed...
All right, there we go. Boom. See, I told right before we went on the air, Mike the board op is off for a couple days, so Jeremy's filling in. And right before the show, I said, "Hey, Jeremy, you want to check and make sure the delay's on?" And see, didn't I tell you I could just tell with the caller? where they're going. And, Steve and I have been together a long, long time. And what happens with a lot of people, like that guy here, how many liberals have told me that they voted for Trump? I hear that all the time. I voted for Trump. What do you think about that? Really don't think about much of what you're saying. I knew he was going somewhere with that. But what they try to do with Steve and I, a lot of people, is what they try to do with Trump and Elon. They cause this division, But anyway, that's that. Okay, so let's get back to the issues. Speaking of divisions, let me get to this. Ben Shapiro, all right? This is in the Daily Mail. MAGA ally Ben Shapiro turns on Trump. Really? MAGA ally Ben Shapiro? MAGA ally Ben Shapiro has stunningly turned on President Trump and urged him to listen to Elon Musk's criticism of his tariff policy. Now, Ben Shapiro is a long-time never-Trumper. In fact, Ben Shapiro is one of the original never-Trumpers. When President Trump ran the first time in 2015, he wrote, Ben Shapiro thinks he's better than everybody else. He just does. He used to like to play the violin all the time to show how smart he was. What do you think? He invented the damn thing? He wrote a column that was a nationally printed column, and the headline of it was, this Ben Shapiro column, Why I Will Never Vote for Donald Trump, okay? So he is not a MAGA ally. He's always been a never-Trumper, Ben Shapiro, but he's one of these fake MAGA who, knew that being a never-Trumper was going to destroy him in the Daily Wire, so he pretended to be MAGA, which has destroyed the Daily Wire that's falling apart right now as we speak. Not only did he write that column, that op-ed, why he would never vote for Donald Trump, during the Skanky or Stormy Daniels controversy with Michael Avenatti and all that, I heard him repeatedly say on his podcast, he would say this, of course, he used the weird word because he's trying to say, he says, of course he boinked her. He would say boinked her. It's classy. Of course he didn't. So he believed Stormy Daniels. He believed Michael Avenatti, Ben Shapiro, and he said he would never vote for Trump. But he's considered a MAGA ally? Are you kidding me? Anyway, let me read this story. Back to this. This is in the Daily Mail. MAGA ally Ben Shapiro has stunningly turned on President Trump. He never was with him. He was faking it. And urged him to listen to Elon Musk's criticism of his tariff policy. Shapiro, a longtime supporter of the president. Do they do any fact-checking in these papers? Did Ben Shapiro write this article? Shapiro, a longtime supporter of the president, smashed the illusion that tariffs are a good business deal for Americans to smithereens with a startling insight on Monday. Musk is right. Musk happens to be 100% right about this. The Tesla, and he goes on and on. Shapiro gave a blunt message to Trump, urging him to do exactly what Musk tells him. Now, Ben Shapiro is in a lot of trouble right now, all right? He's in a lot of trouble. The Daily Wire is on the verge of total collapse. It may have already collapsed. They had two high-profile people that they let go. One, they fired Candace Owens, which may have been over her anti-Semitism or whatever, but, it was a mistake financially. But if it was because of her anti-Semitism, they probably made the right decision there. She's a terrible anti-Semite. But then this thing with Brett Cooper was just a second big mistake, and boom, it's just been a financial disaster. They lost the guy that runs the outfit, Jeremy Boring, they fired. There's been some other executives that reportedly have been let go as well since Jeremy Boring. I've heard a lot of reporting that the Daily Wire is on the verge of financial collapse. And when he's giving financial advice to the President of the United States. I mean, his own company is going down the toilet right now. So who's he to be giving financial advice to maybe the most financially successful man to ever be president of the United States, Donald Trump? Doesn't seem to be someone who has a lot of credibility in that area, Ben Shapiro. But this idea that he's as recently as 2 weeks ago, you know, he's been trying to sabotage Trump the last few weeks, okay? He's been pushing this pardon Derek Chauvin thing, which wouldn't get Chauvin out of prison because he's in prison on state murder charges, not federal murder charges, and presidents can only pardon federal crimes. So what Ben Shapiro, in my opinion, has been doing, these are all the Derek Chauvin pardon, this showing up at the State of the Union, all these things he's been doing are desperate acts to get attention to try to save the Daily Wire. Now, that kind of attention, I don't know. Maybe they want some financial support to come in from the Lincoln Project Never Trumpers. I don't know. But he's doing all of these things to try to go viral and get some popularity to save the company. It's very obvious. And every week or two, he's got some other racket. Now it's this. It's really almost sad. Almost sad, because I don't like this guy. So I do not like Ben Shapiro. I don't think he's a likable personality, and he'll always be around. If the Daily Wire fails, Ben Shapiro will still be around. I mean, he's a well-known personality. He's very famous. Okay, I do support his positions on Israel and agree with Ben Shapiro 100% when it comes to Israel, but that doesn't mean I gotta like him personally. He has. You got to have a likable personality of some type, even an anti-hero personality, to be a likable person. In my opinion, there's not one likable quality about Ben Shapiro. There's just nothing about him that's likable. I just don't like the guy at all. And that you don't have to like everyone you listen to, but I can't stand listening to him, and I don't like him. Yeah. Even though I agree with him 100% on Israel. But he keeps pulling these stunts to try to go viral or get some popularity or to save he's sounding stupid. And this article describing him as a MAGA ally, it's completely insane. Oh man. All right. Now let's take our last break of the second hour, and I'd like to tell you guys about Mike Lindell and MyPillow. You know, MyPillows are just amazing. You have never had sleep like you'll have with the MyPillow bedding. I've got the entire, what I call the MyPillow sleep system. I got a MyPillow mattress. The mattress that my wife and I have, we got a few months ago. They call it a hybrid. It's foam and spring. I've not had a spring mattress since I was a kid. I'm so glad we got this. It's amazing. It gives you lumbar support. So we've got the MyPillow mattress, the one that's the hybrid, the spring with the foam. We got the MyPillow mattress topper. Not that we need it with this mattress, but we already had it, right? From our previous mattress that was not a MyPillow mattress, so we kept it. We've got the MyPillow sheets. We've got all the MyPillow sheets. And we also have the MyPillows. I mean, it is the perfect sleep system. You will sleep like Goldilocks. You will sleep like a baby each and every night. And it's free shipping on all orders over $75. Of course, with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. And there's huge discounts on all the bedding, the sheets, the pillows, the mattress toppers. Huge discounts going on with our promo code Kane at checkout. And you can also get them for your guest beds too. We have them on our guest bed, including a MyPillow mattress topper. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. Save big. You're also supporting the show when you use our promo code Kane. And Free shipping on all orders over $75. All right, we'll be right back. I dropped my whole copybook.
Truth.
With all my copies.
Morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
My name is Dr. Philip Appleton. I'm a chiropractic physician. Over the years, I've treated thousands and thousands of patients from bursitis, tendonitis, sciatica, stenosis, neuropathy, tears, post-surgery, pre-surgery, herniated disc, gout, bone on bone. If you can name the pain, most likely I've treated over the years.
Steve, you there?
My practice is laser with robotic lasers. They're robots which rotate
Steve, are you there?
around the area, where most lasers do not do that.
Steve.
So, if you want to come in for a free consultation,
I can hear you.
always here. Welcome at Appleton
All right.
Chiropractic. I'm here 6 days a week. I personally do all the treatment. You can bring your MRIs, you can bring your X-rays, you can bring your CAT scans, whatever you have to bring for me to look at, I would do that free of charge.
Call Dr. Appleton right now for that free consultation. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonChiro.com.
Hey, my true oldies listeners, John Tesh here with some intelligence for your retirement this time. When you're looking for a retirement advisor, you don't trust and experience are two big qualities to look for. And as it turns out, my friend Joe Thomas possesses both of these. Whether you're in retirement or looking to retire, I want you to give local expert Joe Thomas a call. Here's the number, 561-743-0999. Or, even simpler, you can go to JupiterJoe.com. Mention my name, John Tesh. You'll receive a free copy of Joe's book, Retirement Know-It-All. Great book. Call 561-743-0999. Or remember, go to JupiterJoe.com. That's JupiterJoe.com.
When it comes to dental work, there's no one better than Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. But don't just take my word for it. This is Richie the bus driver. He called in on the air to share his experience with Dr. Gupta. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie, Dr. Gupta. I go 139 miles to this guy. I had a broken tooth. He fixed it. It was supposed to be temporary. It lasted 2 years. He put dentures in my mouth that are a lot cheaper than anybody else. And he's excellent and no pain. I recommend this guy. To me, he's the best ever. So I want to get that out of the way.
Listen to Richie the bus driver. Go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
Men, just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel older. At the Bio Station, West Del Rey, Dr. Mitch Matez, an expert in hormone replacement therapy, is here to help you reclaim your youth. Hormone replacement therapy is all natural and can restore your hormones to where they were in your 20s. You'll feel younger, have more energy, and even get your sex drive back. And for women, hormone replacement pellet therapy can completely stop and reverse the signs and symptoms of menopause. No more better sleep and no more night sweats. Call Dr. Matez for a free consultation today at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
We take on the social giant for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on.
All right, we are back. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. Our number 1-888-465-2631. All right, got a couple other stories I want to bring up before we get back into the Washington stuff. I saw this on Libs of TikTok this morning, and man, I thought the Black Lives Matter crowd were out. And, you know, my hometown is Columbus, Ohio, and there's a story from the Columbus School District where I went to elementary school. And I don't know what school this happened at that I'm going to share with you. I'm not saying it was the school I went to, but I'm not sure what school this is, but it's in Columbus, Ohio. And there's police body cam. I'm going to play you the audio in just a moment. I have not listened to the whole thing, so I may have to dump the soundbite. We'll find out. But it's police body cam footage. The principal of this school, her name's Natalie, is refusing to allow the police officer to enter the school to investigate a bomb threat. Think about that. There's a bomb threat at the school. She's the principal, and she's refusing to let the police officer enter the school. And the audio I'm going to play for you is from the police body cam, so you may have to turn the volume up on whatever device you're listening to me on. I'll turn it up as loud as I can without distorting it. But this is this is the Black Lives Matter thing we used to have a few years ago, and I had been told during the summer of BLM that Columbus, Ohio had been taken over by Black Lives Matter, and it was like a Black Lives Matter run town, and that was kind of heartbreaking, but it seems that they still have some juice. Listen.
You, for some reason, you don't like the police, and you want to make things so difficult for us that we don't want to come to your school. And listen, I listened to you, did I not?
You did.
You are, and I don't know what in your life happened that you hate us so much that you don't want to cooperate. But the Teachers Union, and I've talked with them,
I'm gonna pause you because I'm gonna.
Now keep in mind, there's a bomb threat at this school, so this is during an active bomb threat, and this is the principal not letting the cop in.
Pause you because it's not going to be back and forth. I don't have any hate towards the police or anything like that. There are some who come in over to Ridgeview who are just fine, but all of this and escalatedness and so forth and so on. I do not feel safe. I don't feel comfortable. But
she doesn't feel. I want you to think about this lunatic. This woman should be. First of all, she should be arrested. She's obstructing police in a very dangerous situation. She should be arrested. The cop shouldn't even be having a discussion. She should have cuffs on. But she should also be fired. She doesn't feel safe, not because there might be a bomb in the school. There's a bomb threat. She doesn't feel safe because there's a cop there. Doesn't even make sense. The brainwashing of BLM.
Back and forth. I don't have any hate towards the police or anything like that. There are some who come in over to Ridgeview who are just fine. But all of this and escalatedness and so forth and so on, I do not feel safe. I don't feel comfortable. But because I'm the building principal, and I heard what was going on,
safe right
then
now.
I came on.
You don't feel safe right now.
I do not.
Okay, well
So,
then why don't
Mr.
you go back to your office and hide in safety?
So, Mr. Howe, did you provide him with the information? I'm going to walk out and give it to him.
Okay, keep in mind, active bomb threat at her school. There's children in this school. It's an elementary school. So you have babies there, like kindergartners. I don't even know if they might have pre-K. She won't even talk to him. She's having the assistant principal talk to him. See, you know what this is about with this woman? It's not that the guy's a cop, it's that he's white. She doesn't want to talk to a white person who's in a position of authority. She doesn't mind talking to the white guy that she oversees, the assistant principal. She's just a hardcore racist.
Because I can only give you... Yeah, just give me the top half, and that's fine. I need name, date of birth, and his contact information.
Okay, now they're going to get into some information I'm not going to share. But I got to tell you, the left in this country are sick and twisted beyond description. Beyond description. Okay? And I'm going to follow up on this story. I just saw this morning. It's on Libs of TikTok. I did retweet it. But you know, it's a middle school in Columbus, by the way, not an elementary school. And not the one I went to, although I did go to a school that had almost the same name. And I hope that the parents of that school see this video. I don't know what kind of publicity that's going to get in the local news in Columbus, but Libs of TikTok is pretty influential and powerful and has gotten a lot of things done and accomplished because there's so many millions of people that see everything that they post. That is really frightening to me. You know, when you send your kids off to school, you're putting them in the hands of these people, in this case a principal, and you expect them to look out for them and care for them and take care of them as you would. And when there's a bomb threat you expect them to handle it. And she's delaying the entire action. Now these bomb threats, 99.99999%, are fake. But you never know. What if it's not? But she doesn't feel safe with a police officer who's white. Pretty crazy stuff. Now, after the top of the hour, Steve Kane will join us, and I'm going to recap my thoughts on and I'll do this with Steve, with the Supreme Court ruling. We'll talk about that because it was a great ruling, but the reasoning behind it is not what is being reported. Okay, so I'm going to get into that with Steve. We'll recap all of that. We'll take more of your calls as well at 1-888-465-2631. One last thing, because this relates to what I just shared. There's a real move on the left to bring back this racist thing, right? Like Jasmine Crockett was saying somewhere yesterday, we're not going to pick cotton. Is someone asking you to pick cotton? I mean, do people even pick cotton anymore? I think they have machines for that. And MSNBC, they have this real strange man on. His name is Eddie Claude, and he's on MSNBC yesterday. Listen to this lunatic.
Have to grapple with it because it's the snake, it's the beast coiled up in the heart, the bosom of the country, as Frederick Douglass said. And the fact that they are doubling down on this shows you what kind of human beings they actually are.
Say more.
We chose a felon who is more interested in loyalty, who's more interested in retribution, who's more interested in grift than in democracy. And we chose a felon because we didn't want to elect a black woman.
Oh, we didn't want to elect a black woman. Kamala's problem is not that she's a black woman, Eddie. She's a sugar baby who got lucky. And she's got the mind of a chipmunk. It had nothing to do with the fact that she was a black woman.
Interested in grift than in democracy. And we chose a felon because we didn't want to elect a black woman. So to read that, to actually explicate that, is to say we would rather destroy the republic than for that to have happened. And until we grapple with it, there's no amount of protesting I could do. There's no amount of resistance that could come into play to actually force 78 million people to grapple with what motivated them to put themselves in this position.
Oh my goodness, he's probably a college professor, this guy. I don't know, but he probably is. We'll be back.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar.
I was out of time. I looked at the clock. It was 8. Had to cut myself off.
96.9 FM. Boca Raton on 95.3 FM. West Palm Beach on 95.
Steve, you there? Steve, are you there? Steve, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How's the volume? Because these are new headphones.
Yep, good.
Okay, here's Steve. All right. All right.
I don't know.
Tell them that. Is it comfortable for you? Talk.
I don't hear anything.
Can you hear me?
See?
I can hear it. I hear Brian's voice vaguely in the back.
You can't hear me?
I'm not talking into the...
No, this is a new headset. So look at this. You're fine. Your volume's fine.
Say what?
Your volume's fine. Just leave it there. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. All right. We'll be on in a couple minutes. I got a solution to our problem from yesterday. I'll call you later.
Hope so.
I'll call you later and explain it. Okay? All right.
It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane joining us. Hey, Steve.
Good morning. How are you?
All right, all right. Oh man, so it's been a good week already for Trump.
He is amazing. Just when I think I've seen it all, he shows me something new. What a great...
Oh my goodness.
And he's pulling this off.
No doubt about it.
Good to it.
Yeah, you know, the media yesterday were trying to cause a stock market crash. It totally failed. My favorite was that idiot Kramer. Okay, now this, you know, he was predicting Black Monday. You know, he was the one that started that on CNBC, and he's had everybody in a panic all weekend by design. You remember Kramer? What happened to him during Obama? Do you remember that, Steve? Oh, you remember this? I looked for this, but I could not find it. Now, this was 15 years ago, so, you know, may not be easily to find online from 15 years. I didn't think about it until I was on my way to the radio station today. But Kramer, he's the CNBC guy who was predicting a stock market crash yesterday, and then the NASDAQ ended in the green. By the way, if you're on hold, stand by. When Obama first became president, Kramer went on his CNBC show and predicted a stock market crash if Obama's policies went through. And I can't remember what the specific policy was because it's been 15 years. But he went on the air and said it was going to crash. That's it. You know, if Obama's policies passed. And that was his show was on in the afternoons. And it caused people were ticked off at him. Because in those liberal circles, to criticize Obama at the time was not acceptable. Then this is what you'll remember. The next morning, they put him on the Today Show with Matt Lauer and Katie Couric. And he had to withdraw what he said and apologize to Obama on the Today Show for saying that he was going to crash the stock market. Anybody remember that? And it was one of those, we talked about at the time, it was one of those hostage video things. He looked terrified. He looked like he got a visit in the middle of the night by guys holding baseball bats telling him, well, you're going to go on the Today Show tomorrow and you're going to apologize to President Obama and withdraw everything you said. And he did. And he looked terrified. And all those people that were attacking him for predicting market crashes with Obama, they were all behind him predicting a market crash yesterday with President Trump. I guess it's okay for him to predict market crashes as long as it's against Republicans, presidents. But he's not a credible person, and he was so humiliated yesterday. It was beautiful. And they're saying, what is it, 70 countries at least now have reached out to the White House to negotiate the tariffs? No, no signing. They're still negotiating, but it's going to happen. You know, and that's what Trump wanted. He's winning everything. We don't need these countries; they need us. And they know, you know. And I love England. They're not going to export Jaguar SUVs, Land Rovers, into the United States. Well, everyone I've ever known that has a Land Rover says they suck. I've heard nothing but negatives about Land Rovers my whole life. I don't know. I've never had one, but, you know, I've heard nothing but negativity about them. But how many people are buying the Land Rovers? I mean, keep your Land Rovers, England. I mean, my goodness. No, Trump's winning this across the board. Japan's coming to the table. Everyone's coming to the table except China. They're trying to play hardball.
I mean, Trump is so unique, so different than anybody that's come before him, that it's hard to express it. There was a wave of panic out there yesterday. Trump got in the public light, and after his meeting with Netanyahu, you could just feel the fear melting away in the public. He just reassured everybody, and he just has a magic touch.
Yeah, the only thing there's one thing that's starting to gain some steam that it might be somewhat problematic for Trump, and that I've started to notice. A lot of MAGA people are getting very impatient with Kash Patel and Pam Bondi. And it's really gaining steam that there's been no arrest. There's no arrest. No arrest. You know, and people want these lawfare people arrested from the last 4 years, and there's been nothing. And Dan Bongino, we haven't even seen him since he became deputy FBI director. I haven't seen him once. You know, so there's and the lawfare. None of the people that had, you know, were trying to put Trump in prison. Letitia, Fannie.
You know, listen, he can't do everything all at once.
No, but we haven't seen much of anything from the Justice Department. You know, people want to see. We haven't seen anything. We haven't seen anything from Kash Patel or Pam Bondi and Dan Bongino's MIA. And people are. This isn't me. I mean, there's. People are really losing patience.
Well, you know, listen. You know, with all due respect to MAGA, they don't run the show.
Well, my guess is that Pam Bondi has grand juries. Grand juries are secret, and they, you know, you don't know about them. There's probably grand juries that we don't know about. Is what my guess would be.
A whole lot we don't know about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, but they got to give some updates. The impatience of people on that is really gaining steam, and I understand. I mean, you know, they tried to kill the president, right? They shot him. They were trying to put him in prison. They were doing all this, and so, you know. But grand juries are secret, and as far as I'm concerned, it's better for them to take their time and get it done right, so that whenever they do make arrests, they stick.
Patience with these people who think all of a sudden they become the story.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah, exactly.
Taters like all of us.
Well, Dan Bongino did not walk away from a $12 million a year job to not arrest people. So I trust Bongino's on the job. Yeah. All right, well, let's take some of these calls. Let's go. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Joellen from Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, Joellen.
Dan Bongino did come out, and I think it was yesterday or the day before, and I think it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Say, you know, be patient. Things are happening. We can't talk about them. So, you know, they are working on all this stuff. I mean, they can't do everything all at once, but so I like the people that are upset about the stock market, calm down, just wait, and you know, these people have to be patient.
Yeah, what did Trump say yesterday? What did he had a new word. Don't be a panicking, like a panicking Republican. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not why I called, but I was wondering if you've heard any update on, and this might be the same thing, is Justice Roberts. Remember you had said to the Gateway Pundit that he had those secret meetings with these judges.
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah.
Well, no, I talked about this I'll recap it now. I talked about this at the top of the show, but I'll recap it now. Okay, the Roberts in the court ruled in favor of Trump. They overruled Judge Boasberg, right? Okay, on the deportation. But they didn't do it because it was the right thing to do. I think they did it. You know, Roberts is close friends with this lunatic judge. All right? Yeah, they take vacations together. I've heard that too. Boasberg's a FISA judge. Roberts is the chief FISA judge on top of being Chief Justice. he's got that Eyes Wide Shut judges group that he's a member of. They are friends, everything else. You know, but this judge, Boasberg, was about to get in all kinds of trouble. Laura Loomer, who I told you guys she was working for Trump. I've been telling you guys that for weeks. She's been working for Trump, and then now it's out of the closet. She had a private meeting with him at the White House the other day while we were gone. And we found out that the Congress, because the speaker was saying that they could take the judge's district away. The judge was in trouble. He was going to either be arrested, impeached, have his district removed. But whatever happened, Trump was not going to be listening to the judges. And Roberts came in, I think, to save the illusion that the courts have power. Because there's been a lot of talk over the last couple of weeks that the federal courts really have no powers. They just render their opinions. And government officials the presidents really don't have to listen to them. Right? And they were afraid that is what Trump was going to do. And people would see that they really have no enforcement power. They just issue opinions. They're like pundits. So Roberts and the Supreme Court came in to save Judge Boasberg, who was about to lose his court, and to save the illusion of authority that the courts have, the federal courts have over presidents. I mean, that's what it was. Well, not with Judge Roberts. He's a creep.
It goes back to Judge Roberts. I mean, remember Clarence Thomas and what happened with him when he was going on a cruise or whatever with his friend, and they came down on him very hard. What's going on with Roberts? So I'm hopeful that they're investigating him.
Well, the Supreme Court did the right thing, but they did it for the wrong reasons. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they didn't do it because it was the constitutional thing. They did it because Trump wasn't going to listen to the court. He's within his rights and authority to do what he's been doing.
I was worried about what we're going to rule, but anyway.
Yep. All right. Well, good to hear from you. All right. Thanks for the call. All right. Take care. All right. Let's check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning. Doing good. I kind of resting up from our vacation. You know, vacations can be exhausting still, but what do you have for us today, Barry?
Well, I mean, of course, people don't like losing money, and obviously, the stock market's been going down lately. But, for some people, they have a time horizon for it to come back. However, if you are someone who is older and you need care, the cost of care could cause your finances to crash just like the market's been doing. And that is something that you can avoid by planning now. And that's by making sure that you have a long-term care plan, one way or the other. Either having long-term care insurance, if you can get it and if you can afford it, or making sure that your estate planning has the right language in it so that when the time comes, you and your family can rest assured that you don't have to worry about spending down your assets and going broke. Because that's the last thing you want to do is be broke, especially when there's no chance of getting it back. And that's what we can do. We could help people plan for the future so they don't have to worry about running out of money before they run out of life.
Yeah, and remember, it's always a no-charge consultation with the Siegel Law Group. If you mention you heard Attorney Barry Siegel on the program, and they can help you no matter where you are located in the state of Florida. The number is 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk later in the week. All right, take care. And do we have to take a break? No? Okay, we are back. And you back with us, Steve? Of course. I can always tell. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian. Hi, Steve. How are you? Well, I'd say, I don't know if this has been mentioned on the show, but anybody who thinks that this tariff program was something that was just kind of thrown together on a whim and not thought out has a big mistake. I refer them back to 1988 and a show with Oprah Winfrey where a young Donald Trump, age 41, spends the entire hour outlining a program for the United States of America, his tariff program, and how it would benefit the nation. This has been long in coming. I think he was 41 years old at that age, and he goes into detail about the program that we're now seeing and the benefits that it's going to bring to the country. Now, one of the countries I noticed that came to the table already, Vietnam. You wonder if our commander-in-chief now, if he had been in the Oval Office, would we have had this Vietnam War? I don't think we would have. And we could have spared those 50,000 souls that are dedicated on that wall as a memorial. It's kind of a sobering thought, but Donald Trump's been thinking about this for a long time, and the benefits of this program are going to be really something to watch for.
Well, you know, he did these interviews. You know, there was the Oprah interview, which was that in like 87? There was 88. There was another interview. This one goes way back with Rona Barrett. You know, not many people do. You know, and it's amazing. And you couldn't even say this is true of really anyone, including me or Steve. He was saying the same things back in the early 80s that he's saying today about China. Word for word.
One thing out here, because I'm a little confused. If I understand things correctly, there hasn't been one deal signed yet. Is that correct?
Oh, no. Trump put his tariffs in effect worldwide. So, yeah, no, so those are all in effect. It's they've said 70. No, he just raised the tariffs on everybody. And 70 countries have reached out to the White House to set up negotiations. So,
if you listen to Gordon Chang, I think it was on Levine, they're not doing so well economically. I don't think they can afford to not have us as a trading partner.
Well, no, they're dangerous. I mean, look what they did last time. You know, I mean, they're very dangerous. China, they don't. You know, it's real. But he's pushing China pretty hard, and he knows more than we do about what they did last time.
No leverage on them, but the idea that this was not well thought out or it's just something he pulled out of a hat. No, he's been thinking about this for a long time, and he's never changed his opinion on it.
Well, that's what I was talking about yesterday. This market stuff, it's all manipulation by these globalists, because they have known forever that Donald Trump was going to do this. Okay, especially in the last couple of months. There was no reason for it to have any impact on the market yesterday, because this has been long known to be coming.
It does not mean a trend in the market. I mean, like you said, the NASDAQ comp ended higher yesterday. That's a very strong thing to see. Yeah. But this is not something that he has thought about this for a long time, and to watch him going back in time, or watch him all the way back 37 years, he already had this on his mind. He was envisioning this, that this was an answer for our economic problems in this country, and I think he's right.
That's right. No, he's right. When has Trump ever been wrong? He's always proven right.
Good point. Where do you make money betting against Trump? I don't think he has yet.
No.
But this is a big program. They went nuts in the streets, and I think they made a big mistake. I'm wondering if this is not the beginning of the end for the Democratic Party. They bet the ranch on this, and this was going to be a disaster. What are they going to do now if we go to an economic explosion here?
Yeah.
Talk about now.
Well, a lot of these never Trumpers. Okay, they're moving away from the legal insurrection against him, like with Boasberg. Okay, the Supreme Court ruling is stopping that, so we're going to see less of that. So now their next thing is going to be affecting the market. They're going to do yeah. Go ahead.
Today, where the camera guy caught the buses pulling up like on a back place, and all the paid for insurrectionists were getting out with their signs and everything.
Oh my goodness, on buses.
Yeah. And then he did a man on the street interview with them, and they said, "Well, we're just kind of here to do this." And they asked him a couple.
We were just on the bus and decided to stop off here and do this. Give me a break.
Yeah. They have no leadership. They have no ideas, and it's a disaster.
But you know, it's very important for people. You know, the protesters, the fact that they're old ladies and old men, they're senior citizens and walkers, their numbers are few.
It really is. It's just a part-time job.
Oh, you mean they're? Oh, it's a side gig to supplement their Social Security. Yeah.
And then 12 o'clock, they all check out and go to another location.
Yeah, or take a nap.
Stupid. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, take a nap.
Yeah, they do. They think we're stupid.
Watch this. But I do think we're going to see a tremendous, tremendous economy. And I want to see what these people on TV are going to say then. CNN, MSNBC, I think they're done.
Mm-hmm. All right, take care. Appreciate the call. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Judy K. from Jersey.
Hey, Judy.
Yes, for your cough, take in a deep breath, hold it for 2 seconds, and then forcefully release it. You might have to do it a couple times, but it will change your rhythm and your breathing.
Well, it's mostly my cough. My cough is mainly just a little dehydration due to overconsumption of alcohol for 7 days.
I'm a 33-year survivor of esophageal cancer.
Ah, I thought you were. Yeah.
Problems where even water can start me off and choking.
Ah.
Irritate that area more, and that irritation is what's doing that. But if you can change your rhythm.
Okay.
With when I get out of breath, instead of sitting there
appreciate that advice.
taking it, expel it like that, and I'll change my cycle, and I'm not,
Well, I appreciate it. Take care. Well, I'm just dehydrated from the cruise because all the drinks are free. I mean, no matter how much I tell myself I'm not going to drink on the cruise other than water, it never works out that way, Steve. It just doesn't. Exactly. Yeah, I did have. I had one drink, Steve. It was so strong, I only drank half of it, and I couldn't drink it anymore, and I was like tanked. And I think I ordered it. It was a mixed drink that I saw someone else order, so I said, "Oh, that sounds interesting." And I think there was a chemical reaction with the mixer that makes it stronger. It was Tito's, which is, I like Tito's. It was Tito's with club soda and Red Bull. And I drank it. Oh, my goodness. Well, I only drank half of it, and I was milking it. And I was like, oh, this is pretty. I couldn't even finish drinking it. It was that strong. But it tasted good, too, which makes it even more dangerous, right? Because if it tastes really good, you'll want to drink more of it. But, yeah, listen, it's 1 week a year. The rest of the year, I'm dry. I only drink on the cruise. I really do. Yeah, and I have so much alcohol at home because people give me at Christmas time liquor and wine like nobody's business. So I have more liquor and wine than a lot of bars in my house that have been gifted to me over the years, and I don't touch any of it all year long. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Shawna, Texas.
Oh, all right. Sounds like a great call. Go ahead, Texas.
Well, I'm just curious. I don't see many people talk about it. Are you aware of the BOI report?
The what report?
The BOI report.
The BLY report?
Bravo, Oscar, Indigo.
No. BOI. No.
So it's something that I've been trying to spread awareness, or at least have eyes on, rather curious about. The BOI report is meant to be a filing that was signed off by our government and essentially enforced disclosure of information to the government from the business owners. Now, one interesting thing that I saw about it is that it exempted financial institutions, this being, someone who works in the financial institutions, I saw this as a conflict of interest. So I was curious if you had heard anything about the BOI report.
No, other than you, and it sounds terminally boring, and who are you or anyone to have information on financial institutions? What do you do for a living?
I invest in, well, I do both, a bunch of things, but invest.
Well, what are some investing and what else? You do a bunch of things?
Yeah, well, I have a portfolio of different things I do. But
Like what? Like what? What are the other things you do? Other than bore people. Oh, you're an investor. You're an investor. Okay. What are you investing in now?
I'm investing right now.
Oh, now you're not investing. Oh my goodness. You know what? I got a new name for these kind of callers, Steve. These fake callers. Cosplay callers. You know, like if you go to the science fiction conventions, these people are in the cosplay. They dress up like the characters in the movies and in anime. These these cosplay callers, they have these identities that they live by. Oh, I'm an investor. You know, the guy called me the other day. He was I forgot what he was. They're all something that they're not, right? You know what I mean? Oh, I'm an investor. They're typically nothing. All right, listen. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll take our bottom of the hour break and be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott Shannon here on the Steve Kane Show with Amazing Brian. Just a reminder that at 10 this morning, we're back to the rock and roll music on the True Oldies channel.
Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast.
It's a mostly cloudy 75 degrees, and later on this afternoon, we will see a high of 80 degrees.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about coastal weight loss when we get back, but look at how much weight I have lost. I mean, look at this. And you guys saw that I was looking at that video.
Showers as well, and tomorrow looks to be a high of 78 degrees with a low of 66, and that may be a
This video here was just 6 months ago. Look at that, 6 months ago. Compared to now.
Northbound 95, there's an accident at Southern Boulevard. Southbound I-95, a broken down vehicle blocking the left lane at the exit ramp to Linden Boulevard. Spot something on the roads, call the traffic tip line, pound 250, keyword West Palm traffic. I'm Ron Hersey.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. PBKC is your best bet for super OTB action this weekend. Check out Oaklawn's Apple Blossom Handicap, the Maker's Mark Mile Stakes, and more. The paddock is the perfect place to catch all the OTB and sports action with over 140 HD TVs and delicious food. And make plans now to be here for the Kentucky Derby Fest, May 3rd with barbecue, music, hat contest, mint juleps, and more. For more info, go to pbkennelclub.com.
This is Mark Laporta, son of Tom Laporta, and proud second-generation owner of Laporta Roofing. As a military veteran who served in the Army after 9/11, I brought the same dedication and discipline to our family business. At Laporta Roofing, we've been serving our community for nearly 4 decades, and we're committed to continuing that legacy of excellence. Our team specializes in all types of roofing systems, from shingles to tile, slate, metal, and flat roofs. We're the go-to experts for single-family homes, HOA communities, and condo associations. What sets us apart is our unwavering commitment to customer satisfaction. I've personally implemented systems to ensure you receive the best in customer service and workmanship. Don't miss out on our limited time offer for a free roof inspection. Call us now at 954-604-4602 or visit us at laportaroofing.com. Trust the experts who have been protecting homes like yours for generations. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
We're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Linda Boyne, I just received my 7th and 8th set of Lakeland sheets.
Yeah, do you have any recorded spots that break? Okay. Yeah, I'll do a live read for him.
And then also the Jupiter Joe Thomas.
Yeah, what time do I need to end? Do you know? 59, not a problem.
I send them to my friends for Christmas now, and they just love them. Absolutely love them.
Yeah, I have the flannels too. You're like Goldilocks. They keep you the same temperature all night long.
Yes, so perfect. But the guy just has a great product.
The thing with Mike Lindell's sheets, all of them, the fitted sheet at the bottom fits perfectly on the mattress. Every other sheet, you can't get the 4 corners on.
and it's almost impossible. Even after having them for years and washing them, I don't know how many times, they still fit perfectly.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
You're probably going to be on the next My Pillow commercial, just so you know, okay? Because
okay.
Okay, just to let you know. You heard Lynn from Boynton. She loves her My Pillow sheets. Order yours right now at a huge discount. Use our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout at mypillow.com.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane, you back with us? Yes. Why can't you just say yes? I'm here. Yeah. Okay. That works good too, Steve. All right. If you're on hold, hang in there. I was sitting down for most of the show, Steve, which I never do, and I've been standing for a while. And the reason I was sitting down is because I didn't want to do for 3 hours what I've been doing for the last hour. I've been holding my pants up. I have lost so much weight thanks to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. And I stopped weighing myself. I haven't weighed myself in a good couple of weeks now. And I could just feel and see how much weight I have lost. It's amazing. My pants are just slipping constantly off my body. I pulled up a video. You remember I made a documentary 6 months ago following the assassin that, I walked the path of the Florida Trump assassin at the Trump International Golf Course. I went to the spot where the assassin stood in wait and all the way to where they captured him off of I-95. And I'm embarrassed that if this video wasn't so important, I might take it offline. But then there's hundreds of videos of me because I do videos every day. I cannot believe how heavy I was 6 months ago. It's like another face. I mean, I can really see my pants falling down constantly. That's a big tell. I can see on my face and neck how thin I've gotten. And my stomach's completely flat now, which is where I really wanted to lose the weight, is where I've lost it, my waist and in my stomach. And I'm looking at this this video of me from 6 months ago. I cannot believe how round my face was compared to now. Now I've got like a form, a shape, a square jaw. I don't know what you call it, but it's not what I looked like 6 months ago. It's absolutely amazing. And listen, call Coastal Weight Loss Secret. I'm going to give you their number in a moment. And do what I've done. Now remember, I'm not doing any exercise at all. I'm eating regular foods. Those of you on the cruise last week, I was ordering right off the menu. I was even having desserts. Okay, and I'm not taking any prescriptions. I'm not on Ozempic. And I know I say that every time because everybody assumes, no, not only am I not on Ozempic, I would never recommend people take that. I'm not on Ozempic or any other medication. Coastal Weight Loss Secret works. Now, when you call, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the True Oldies channel. 561-247-6300. And I had never been on any diet or weight loss program in my life. And when I first started it, I didn't tell you guys about it for 2 weeks. I was on it for 2 weeks before I started talking about it because I'd never been on any type of weight loss program before, so I didn't know if I'd be able to do it. I'm not hungry, and I'm eating what I want to eat. So it worked. That's when I started telling you guys. And it was a bit of a risky thing for me because if it wasn't successful, you guys would know because I'm on YouTube all the time. And it's really scary looking at what I looked like 6 months ago compared to now. But it feels good that I look good now. I thought I looked good then, but I really didn't look good then. I look good now. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. All right, to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Rob in Lake Forest.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, listen, the DOI thing. First of all, this is how bad our government is. Beneficiary ownership information. Every corporation in America was supposed to, under the Biden administration, tell us who you're going to give your company to if you died. It was social security numbers, addresses. It was terrible. Information they didn't need to know.
Hey, Rob, you're a good guy, but that caller was probably the most terminally boring call we've ever received. We certainly don't need people to call in about his boring topic that no one cares about.
One more thing. This is to expose that idiot. It's been rescinded.
Oh, my goodness.
If he was supposed to be this big investor, how is the idiot not know it's been rescinded in February? That's all I wanted to say.
Oh, but it was rescinded, but he's still looking for it. Okay, all right. Oh, my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Rick from the Depths of Hell. What's up, man? I got something to ask you.
Oh. Who do I punk? Who do I punk?
And I know what you're going to do.
Oh, is this you? Are you the guy? Are you the guy? Are you the guy?
You're a bastard.
Oh.
If you guys are all common sense, why does Trump believe in whale-killing windmills?
Whale killing windmills. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
A whale. Whales are beneath. Wait a second. I'm confused. Slow down. Slow down. This is interesting. We may have to, Steve. We may have to reflect on our support for MAGA. President Trump believes that whales fly like up where windmills are.
Yes.
Like Shamu and humpback whales.
That's your boy. That's
Yeah.
Your boy.
Now I'm going to say this to you. No, you're not going to do what I do to people. You would have to have skill, talent, and abilities like I have. So no, you're not going to do anything. Oh my, he has to be somebody that I've had an interaction with. It was too personal with him. Has anyone heard anything about what he's talking about, that Trump believes whales can fly? Shamu, the big killer whale? Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Oh my goodness. You're on the air. And I want to remind you guys, okay, that complain about the way that we handle callers, you call us, right? You know what we're all about. You know what happens. We don't call you. So, you know what you're getting into when you call this program. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's the frequency of the windmills that are causing the whales to go and beach themselves. That's a moron that just called you up. It's the frequency given off by...
Oh, okay. Okay. The windmills, if you've ever seen them, are massive. And because of the wiring and everything that's involved in them, they give off a radio signal or sonar signal or something that attracts the whales to the beach. Now, that makes sense. That's that, yeah.
Flying, right? So this guy just called you is a total idiot like the rest of them. The rest of the Democrats are all idiots. Have a good one.
All right, take care. Oh, my goodness. That was the shortest call that Richie has ever made. I don't think Richie's said so few words. I'll tell you this, though, about the liberals that we've heard from this week. Because it's only Tuesday, and we've gotten a lot of liberal callers in the last 2 days. Every one of them has been incoherent, in a rage. They have half of their talking points. See, this is the thing with USA. It's really amazing what happened with USAID. USAID was where everything was being done, including the talking points. So you have an entire movement of angry people that don't know what to say. If they have any talking point, it's only half of one. Like that guy with the whales. He had the whale thing right and the windmill right, but he didn't have the real reason why it was happening. He thought that they were flying. That's as an example. There's the liberal callers. They're I guess maybe devolving, right? I mean, Trump's driving them insane. It's what it is. It's because we're winning so much. That's exactly what it is. Now there was this soundbite I played before you were on yesterday, Steve, but I wanted to play this one for you. This was on Face the Nation on Sunday, and this was with Lutnick, who's brilliant, and he was with Margaret Brennan. And this is my favorite because Margaret Brennan, who's married to a Syrian man, which is important to know, she looks like your standard, typical all-American, white girl. She's married to a Muslim man and hates Trump and everything else that he's doing. She thought she had Trump. She found an island that no one lives on that Trump put a tariff on. And she thought she was going to embarrass the president and Lutnick with this question. And she got her clock cleaned. And she realizes it on her own show that she looks stupid. Listen, I love this one. Hold on, I got to cue it up. Where are we? There we are.
So it's not the tariffs. It has nothing to do with tariffs.
I don't know. Can you hear that one, Steve? Oh, hold on. Let me see. You should be able to hear it now.
To 0.0, it would go to 200 billion.
Can you hear it now? Oh, okay.
We need to stop the ripoff, and 0.0 is the way.
No, but we don't have 0.0, sir.
We
don't have 0.0 actually, because when we saw the president stand in the Rose Garden holding up that chart that you helped make, that wasn't actually tariffs. That was actually confusing to investors because it was some kind of other formula, and the countries themselves seemed kind of random. Like, why are the Heard and McDonald Islands, which don't export to the United States and are quite literally inhabited by penguins, why do they face a 10% tariffs? Did you use AI to generate this?
No, the idea is...
Why are they on the list?
Left off. Because the idea, what happens is, if you leave anything off the list, the countries that try to basically arbitrage America go through those countries to us.
Okay, so he said you got to have you got to have it everywhere because they'll just launder their imports through these other countries. That's why they're there. She had this line, "Did AI do this?" which she read off the card that she had in front of her, and he just, it goes on for some time. I'm not going to play the rest of it, but she realizes right at the end, oh, no one on my staff or I picked up on this. I look stupid on my own air live on Face the Nation. It's beautiful. I thought Face the Nation was taped. If it was, that wouldn't have been on there. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, what's up? You still running and hiding? Hey.
Now, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to let you finish this. Okay. It's one call per day. You call again, you're going to get banned. Okay. All right. He's just, that was the quickest banning on the program I think that we've had. All right, let me. William Youngerman's not going to be with us today, so you're going to get the. I don't even want to call it amateur because I'm just going to go online and give you the numbers. It's less than amateur, but I'm going to give you the gold and silver prices and talk about William Youngerman. Gold right now is at $3,024.50 an ounce. It's up $50.90 today. Isn't that insane? That's crazy. And silver's up 72 cents at $30.32. And I was talking to them at William Youngerman's yesterday, and they were telling me stories of people. There was a guy who came in the other day, Steve, with some jewelry that he was going to throw away. He found he was doing some decluttering in his house. Came across this jewelry and thought it was junk and was going to throw it away. And I don't know, something possessed him to take it over to William Youngerman's, and it was worth thousands of dollars. And they were just telling me story after story of a listener came in with a necklace, a gold necklace, and it wasn't anything fancy or special, but it was gold, and it was over $3,000 for this necklace. She was blown away, and people are just amazed. So William Youngerman, of course, buys and sells, the gold and silver bullion and the platinum coins and the silver bars and all these things, as we talk about that so much. But he buys anything that's made of the metals, which includes sterling silver, old jewelry, anything that's made of the metals. And there's a lot of things made of the metals other than the standard things we think of. So if you have anything that's made of the metals, it's not only worth money, it's worth a lot of money right now with these prices. So stop in or call. William Youngman opens up at 10 a.m. The number's 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. His address is 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road on the first floor of the Bank of America building. When you enter the building, William Youngerman's shop is right across the lobby from the bank lobby. You can't miss it. And you can find both his address and phone number on his website, williamyoungerman.com. All right, and make sure you tell him you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show, all right? And this is the time. Go through your house. It's spring. Is it spring cleaning time? That's what the ladies do. You have anything made of the metals, you've just, you won like a small little lottery, really, right, Steve? I mean, so take it over to William Youngerman's and turn it into cash. So, I wanted to finish up, though, talking about what's happened with the courts. You know, the Supreme Court ruling yesterday against this Judge Boasberg. Now, Boasberg, who's an outlaw, I mean, he's gotten, 4 Trump cases? The cases are supposed to be randomly assigned, and he's getting them all. Like he's the only judge, right, on the wheel to the roulette wheel that they use to assign these cases. And Laura Loomer has been finding out all. I told you guys she was working for Trump, and I'm surprised they blew her cover. Last week when we were gone, I saw online that she had the private meeting with him at the White House, and she's been finding out all kinds of things about this judge, including there was how he's been manipulating the system to get all the cases. There's also his brother is involved in some business making money off of the illegals in the country. There's all kinds of things coming out on the judge, and what I'm wondering with the Supreme Court ruling. Does that mean that all of this lawfare insurrection is going to end? Are they no longer going to be going to these federal courts and trying to stop Trump every time he tells somebody to turn on a light? Because there's a pretty strong ruling. Now, Boasberg today has another Trump hearing, and it's about holding Trump officials in contempt for disobeying his order not to turn the plane around with the gang members to El Salvador. Now, because of the Supreme Court ruling, he shouldn't even have the hearing, right? So if he has the hearing, it shows it's still on. Well, there shouldn't even be a hearing, right? The Supreme Court ruled that he had no authority over Trump with the Enemy Aliens Act, or whatever it's called. Yeah. So, Boasberg, he had no authority to. Their ruling said he shouldn't have even heard the case. He shouldn't have even taken the case. But he heard it, and he's ruled on it. Well, yeah, I like that too. So we'll see what he does today. Will he have the hearing, or will he say, well, no, dismissed, closed, whatever they do, or is the lawfare going to continue? He's completely, not only is he insane, he looks crazy. You look in Boasberg's eyes, he's a complete lunatic. It's kind of like that guy that we were just talking to. He's just completely insane with Trump. That might be Judge Boasberg. And by the way, since I hung up on that caller, he's called 4 times since I hung up on him. 4 times. I mean, what do they think? We're chumps here? So the hearing today is an important one to see, because this lawfare insurrection that they've been running, that Trump's been completely ignoring, I would hope it would be over for the most part after the Supreme Court ruling. I really would, because nothing like this has ever happened before.
The rule you're talking about validates the jurisdiction of the president's.
Yeah, but will Judge Boasberg recognize the Supreme Court's ruling? Well, what if he doesn't? What are they going to do? I think I think Roberts was doing Boasberg a favor. I think he was covering for Boasberg with the ruling because they're such good friends. I mean, they vacation together, right? It's been reported they vacation together. So which is weird. I mean, why is John Roberts vacationing with Democrats? We don't vacation with Democrats. Could you imagine if we had on our vacation last week, Steve, a Democrat? It would not have been as much fun, right? I mean, if you're a Republican, would you vacation with a Democrat? You wouldn't.
When you take cruises, you seem to attract Democrats.
Well, there's people on the board that aren't in our group. I'm talking about in our group. In our group, there's no Democrats in our group, right? Our group's all MAGA. The people that we choose to go with are all conservative. I wouldn't sit at a dinner table for a week with a Democrat, hang out at a beach with a Democrat well, Democrats aren't nice. Listen to them on the phones, right? So and Boasberg's insane. He's like Liberal Al. So the fact that Roberts vacations with him says a lot about him. I can't remember the last time we heard from him. Not long enough. No. Don't take. If you're. No. If you're listening, Liberal Al, us talking about you is not a shout out for you to call in. Okay, don't misunderstand it. We were just using your low character as a reference point, okay? We're very glad we haven't heard from you in quite some time. Oh, one of our cruisers, Gary, he was telling me that Dr. Appleton rid him of his neck arthritis. He had arthritis in his neck, which I don't know. All arthritis is painful. The little bit I had hurt pretty bad, but I would imagine the neck has got to be one of the worst places to have arthritis. And he's been seeing Dr. Appleton, and his arthritis is gone in his neck. That's absolutely amazing. It's a funny thing. Since Dr. Appleton has been with us, anytime we get together with listeners, people are always telling me what Dr. Appleton rid them of, right? My hip pain. This was a first. The neck arthritis was the first. But my elbow, my arm, my shoulder, my this, my that, it doesn't hurt anymore. And it is just so amazing and gratifying that so many of our listeners have been, rid of their pain, and now they're living a pain-free life because of Dr. Appleton. If we had not met Dr. Appleton, Steve, I would be in all kinds of suffering, and people in our audience would be suffering too, or we'd all be junkies on pain medications that just mask the pain. The laser away pain treatment works. It works. It is 100% painless. Not only is it painless, you don't even feel it when you're having the treatment done. There's no shots, no injections, no downtime, and no appointment needed, even on Saturday, and there's no surgery. It works on every type of pain I've heard of. Arthritis, as we said, bursitis, strains and sprains, repetitive motion injuries, post-surgical swelling, neck and back injuries, knee conditions, tinnitus, sciatica, spinal stenosis, fibromyalgia, plantar fasciitis, which I understand is very painful, rotary tears, herniated disc, acute pain, chronic pain. That is a very incomplete list. Those are just some of the more common pains that people have. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain, too. Now, remember, appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonChiro.com. That's AppletonChiro.com. And say bye-bye to your pain. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. Okay, so that's that for today. And I mean, I don't know at what point this week the stock market's going to shoot up, but I don't follow the Dow Jones from day to day. I do listen to the market experts. And most of the experts I saw, other than the NASDAQ closed in the green yesterday, barely, but did, even though they were predicting Black Monday, they've used that term a mixed closing. So it didn't tank yesterday as they were predicting, you know, and that's that. It's good. Trump knows what he's doing, you know, and I love that new phrase that Trump came up with, the panicking. That is such a good one. The panicking Republic. It's, you know, it's like a panicked Republican panicking. You know, there's so many panicked Republicans, and you know the media and the left keep trying to get these false narratives going, and it's like you ever been to a Dolphin game and somebody starts the wave and it only gets through a couple sections and it dies off. That's how their false narratives are. They're like the waves that don't make a failed wave. Yeah, exactly. Yesterday, the people that were the complainers about the stock market are people that don't own any stocks for the most part. You know, and when the stock market goes down, the big money people are happy because it's buying opportunities. It's like with William. If you ever hear gold's doing very well, but when gold's down, I always say to William Youngerman, "Oh, gold's on sale today." Right? I mean, that's how, you know, people that are investors, that's how they look. Oh, the stocks are on sale today. What can I get? That's it. All right, I should not do this, but we'll try another call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Jack. Real quick, I believe the liberals' problem is due process, and it's due to everyone on American soil. That, I think, is the only...
What due process? Of who? Whose due process?
Gentleman who was an illegal immigrant, regardless of the fact.
Which are you talking about? The guy from Columbia? No. University?
The gentleman who you were speaking about earlier. I don't...
Oh, the guy, the one from Maryland?
Maryland or anywhere. You are due for due process.
No, that's not true. The guy in Maryland is excuse me. The guy in Maryland, okay, is an illegal from El Salvador who 6 years ago was ordered by a federal judge to leave. Excuse me. All right, thank you very much, Jack. He was ordered by a federal immigration judge 6 years ago to get out of the country. He already had his process. He already had his day in court, and he was on the lam. That's why he's out. He's gone. He had his due process. The due process doesn't continue and continue and continue forever and ever. All right, we're out of time for today. I'm Brian. Steve Kane's here. See you tomorrow, 6 a.m. Hey, listen, thanks for watching. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, all right? See you next time. Hey, guys. Thanks for watching, everyone. I will see you later. Take care.